Before the showcase of the Immortals, we will see if somebody finishes the story. We will see who rises to promise. We will see who truly is ready to lead this brand, who is the future. And at the end of the day, this is JJ's brand. This is his grand stage. This is NXT, and they will, come Saturday morning, stand and deliver. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Simply Predicting. This is the NXT fam, and you know what this is, for I am the Simple Man, the Simple Brand, and the voice of JNM, forever great for professional wrestling. Damn it! And my name is Noah Foster. With me, of course, is another illustrious panel of fun professional wrestling fans and enthusiasts. I, of course, have my color analyst, and this is his brand. This is his stage. You show him some respect, damn it. The Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. We have the champions, the deputy multiverse of media, and sometimes they agree, but more often than not, they don't agree, and that's always great to see and engage with. Emmanuel and Arlene, longtime friend of the deputy multiverse of media, one of my horsemen of predictions, as well as my other horseman predictions. Shout out to Mark Griffin, who's not here. Christopher Rotz, who is playing the role of John Cena, and the glorious Jeff Chadwick, who is doing a whole lot right now. So first off, everybody, it is tremendous once again to see you here on Simply Predicting, and I hope everyone who enjoys this live or on demand, please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. And I know I am doing this during other things, so please remain hashtag spoiler free. That is your only warning. And if you want to dictate the conversation, donate to Dictator Cat Stadium Studios. Super chat's as simple as that. Let's go around the horn and give everybody some initial thoughts before we get right into it. First off, gotta start with the man that is his brand after all, because he says it verbatim, and I quote, "This is his NXT. Damn it." JJ, good to see you. It's going to be fun calling this with you Saturday. How you feeling about what NXT has set up for you? Kyle is your hype level for NXT. Stand and deliver.
Well, from a gauge of 1 through 10, I'd say I'm about a 15 right now. I'm beyond stoked for this show. You know, it's funny because you throw that graphic up, and that started off as just kind of a ha-ha because of how you kept proclaiming that this was not your NXT. But the more and more I watched it, the more and more this brand did become a part of my soul, my blood, and I'm so looking forward to this weekend. I do think we may have a couple of surprises, a couple of shocks. You know, we'll just have to see what good old HBK has in store for us. But regardless of what it is, I think they're going to hit that alley-oop, you know, just set the ball up for the main roster to come behind them and just slam dunk it.
And here I thought you were going to say they were going to whoop that trick. Anyway.
We'll get there in the main event.
Oh, yes, we will.
Uh-huh.
What?
That's right.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. All right, stop it. Stop it.
Sucky ducky, dog.
Can you dig it, sucker? Oh, Lord, we have gone all off the rails. Christopher Rotz, attention, son. Focus, bruv. How you feeling tonight, man? How you feel about NXT Stand and Deliver?
Hey, everybody. Happy WrestleMania week. I'm looking forward to NXT Stand and Deliver. I'm going to give this show an 8 out of 10. NXT always delivers on their PoE events, and personally, Saturday can't come fast enough. I am looking forward to this show. I'm looking forward to the main event, Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. That's going to be a banger of a match. It's going to be an awesome show. I want to say yeah to NoDQ.com. Yeah. And good luck to everybody that is still competing in the NXT Predictions League.
And of course, that includes not only the NXT Team Galaxy, but the NXT team of NoDQ. And of course, I'm keeping score after one event through. And JJ may be your brand, but again, man, you need to stand and deliver to get out from the bottom, because lowest score was 4, and you're down there with Steve and Colin. Kaz, the only one that got a perfect score, so good on him. So let's see if he can do it 2 in a row. So again, good luck to everybody in the team and everybody in the Galaxy, as I only wish to encourage you, have fun and participate. And again,
I
this
think
is
you
NXT
need to
PLE 2.
rearrange that list up and put my name above Collins if we're all tied. Like, you know, why you gonna have me at the very bottom there, bro? Like, come on.
I went
You said it yourself in the introduction. Show me some freaking respect.
Hey,
He
blame
went
Microsoft
F.
Excel.
Oh, never
Blame
mind.
Bill Gates. Blame Bill Gates. Go ahead, Arlene.
No. I know what it is. I know what it is. It's his
Yeah.
hatred of Chase U that does it.
I was gonna say he went alphabetically, but then I saw an S, so I was like, oh, never mind. I can't defend you there. No.
I'm trying, JJ. I will fix the leaderboard at least for that because I think he does deserve that. Jeff, been a long time, man. Good to see you. I know you've been going for a lot, but again, man, here's a nice escape to engage in professional wrestling, sports entertainment. How you feel about NXT Stand Deliver?
Well, first off, JJ, remember, being on the bottom, you have a very important job. You're holding everybody else up. Okay,
right.
Just keep that in mind.
That's why I need that back brace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Stand and Deliver. I think this is the first major pay-per-view from NXT in a while where I am fully on board with each and every storyline that is on this card. I mean, the storylines run deep in all these matches.
Mm-hmm.
And I have highly enjoyed everything I've seen so far. I don't expect Saturday to disappoint at all. So even the Joe Gacy Sean Spears match, I'm looking forward to that one, which we'll get to, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this.
All right.
Yeah, I'd say the two matches with the least story are that one that kind of got thrown together last night and the tag titles.
Yeah.
Well,
everything else, I'm kind of with you there, Chad.
Right. Well, Gacy, of course, we all remember he took Sean's chair, which set up this match. So
each other, as we'll talk about when we get to the NXT North American Championship Triple Threat. So again, cause and effect. So
exactly.
There you go.
I'm just saying, I would hardly call it a deep story like all the others.
No, not a deep one, but it's there.
Yeah.
Call it a short story.
It makes more sense than most of Tony Khan's matches.
There we go.
Throw darts. Oh, okay. You go have a match. We'll call it a dream match.
8 out of 10. He's not wrong. Anyway,
I was going to say, Noah, I know you and your AEW, bro, but stop me when I'm telling lies.
You're not. Look, I'm not one-sided. I look at all aspects of the industry. I look at all things wrestling. You have to point out the faults of each place as well as their pluses. It's a great plus that AEW delivers incredible ring action, but sometimes their storytelling can be a little bit of a question mark worse than the Riddler. Anyway, Arlene, good to see you once again here on Super Day again. First off, like I said before in our pre-live studio conference, thank you again for everything both you and Emmanuel do for JJ, Jeff, Open Mind Night, and the Jeff Meacham Multiverse Media too. We truly appreciate both of you, and it's always a genuine joy to engage with you on Simply Predicting, despite the fact you and Emmanuel sometimes put me through expenses of my dignity. But anyway, no love. Nothing but love. Arlene, how you feel about Stand Deliver?
I behaved. I only donated to spin the wheel. That's all I did. My brother did all the other ones where they made you sing song, like everybody a song. I just donated for the wheel. That's all I did.
Yeah, got it.
I'm happy to be here. I'm more excited about what's going to happen with Carmella and Trick, which is ironic because it's not even for the title, but I'm wondering about how that one's going to end. I think I have my theory, but I'm wondering who's gonna get that one. Who? Because I think both of them deserve that win, and just the story and everything like that. So we'll see how they decide to end that one.
Yep, fair enough. Speaking of a man that hates wheels, Emmanuel, good to see you once again, sir. How you feel about NXT Stand Deliver? Freaking that one.
It's actually a pretty decent card, more better than WrestleMania. For all I care, it's true. It has more build, more stories, except for one. I think it's Ela versus Tony, but that's a different story. I'll explain later why I feel that's the one story I felt lacking. But
all right,
that's about it. I mean, and Noah, next year, Disco Fever, Disco Inferno.
Damn it. Well, that's 2025. Let's stay in present time in 2024. And I think without further ado, as we've gotten into some fun, open conversation too, gentlemen, lady, and everybody in the chat, let's get right into it. So again, NXT Stand Deliver, it will be at noon Eastern Standard Time with a kickoff prior. And of course, we'll have our kickoff and our call, watch along here, the different multiverse of media. But yes, NXT Stand Deliver. We have 6 matches on the main card, but we also did get one for the kickoff out of circumstances. So we'll go ahead and highlight that here a little bit. And I figure we'll go around the horn as far as who leads matches. And I know a couple of people have deeper thoughts for other matches, and we'll go into those as we progress. So the kickoff match will be Joe Gacy versus the chairman, Shawn Spears. This all stems from the fact that both Joe Gacy and Shawn Spears have cost each other a chance to be involved in the NXT North American Championship match. Of course, that we will talk about literally after this. Now, JJ, you've been a proponent of Joe Gacy's character change ever since the Schism Tree died a proper death. And we've seen the fallout with him and Dijak and the Steel Cage and the street fight at Vengeance Day. And it's almost like now Dijak's finally removed from that world of insanity. And now the chairman, Shawn Spears, is welcome into it. So I don't think a chair is going to be involved here. But what's your take on this match? I would think that Joe Gacy kind of needs to win more, but again, Joe Gacy is like Al Snow. It's not about the win, it's about the mental game. And he still wins in the end in being defeated. So does the same apply here? What's your take?
I think it's interesting that you make that Al Snow comparison, because I'm sitting here and I'm trying to go back and forth on this, because you're absolutely right. Joe Gacy needs this. He's lost pretty much every major feud he's had since the Schism Tree was chopped down. The Dyad left and began gritting their teeth elsewhere, and Ava became the general manager of NXT. Gacy has been lost. He's been a lost soul. And he needs a victory here to start finding himself. But the flip side of the coin is Shawn Spears just came back.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this is his first PLE since he came back.
Correct.
So he could use the win on this big stage to help propel him back to bigger, better things as well. You know, a loss for Joe Gacy would be the norm. A loss for Shawn Spears could hinder any further development with him just coming back. So I think I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick Shawn Spears in this one, and then I'll throw it to Chris's forehead.
All right, fair enough. Again, great forehead. At least you're not balding like Michael Cole. Yeah.
Hey, I got a haircut yesterday to look nice.
Well, all right. Well, since JJ decided to get Chris's thoughts, maybe he thinks opposite. We have one for you said Shawn Spears, right, JJ?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we got one for the chairman. So, Chris, simply put, do you agree or disagree? Do you believe still in being part of a world of inclusivity, even though it's upside down? Or do you believe that the chairman's going to find euphoria without the use of his favorite weapon?
Well, we got Shawn Spears, Joe Gacy, and personally, I'm happy that Shawn Spears is back in WWE and he's going to finish his career out on the high note in
Hopefully.
WWE. I have a gut feeling they're going to need a replacement as a top heel in NXT once Carmelo Hayes goes to the main roster. And I think Shawn Spears is going to be in a perfect fit to be a top heel in NXT. So as far as this match goes, I know Joe Gacy, he's going crazy, just like Mick Foley went crazy, and those two are alike in some way. As far as this match goes, I got Shawn Spears winning on Saturday.
All right, so far kickoff is unanimous with 2 members part of the board with the chairman. How fitting. Does anyone have a disagreement before we continue regarding Joe Gacy maybe winning? Going once, going twice. Really? We're all unanimous. All right. Chairman Shawn Spears for the win. Again, established veteran. And the funny thing with Shawn Spears' last involvement in NXT, he very rarely, if ever, got the big moment at SPLE. And while it's kickoff, he's the returning vet of the game, too. So, yeah, I think this goes a little further than one match. Yes, Emmanuel?
The only thing that's, I think Joe's probably going to be the new disciple of Shawn, probably. There's a possibility of that because Shawn earns can see how much of a psychopath he is, and he's like, you know what, like you're someone I want in my on my plans in the head of championship in NXT wise.
Mentorship. Well, Joe Gacy has yet to win a championship in NXT. To your point, I don't think Shawn Spears won a championship when he was previously involved in NXT. So that's fair. Maybe Joe Gacy and Shawn Spears could be the new mental game team of NXT. One with the chair, one with the upside down. But again, which way is right side up? I don't know. All right, that's fair. Well, let's go ahead and get right into the... What, Jeff?
Real quick. I just wanted to ask a question. Who here, other than myself, has enjoyed this version of Joe Gacy? I mean, come on. I mean, I have absolutely. It's like watching Mick Foley over again. When he gets down, he gets pinned, he's hurt. He's got this big, pardon the expression, shit-eating grin on his face. I am loving every second of this character, win or lose. This is probably the best thing that's ever happened to Joe Gacy right now. He came in, he was pretty much just a nobody. He led a group that ultimately just dissolved. And then he's like, well, where do I go from here? Pretty much. He came back with this character, and I've absolutely loved it. So, I mean, bow down to that. I am actually, I will say it, I am a Joe Gacy fan right now. So I've highly enjoyed this career turn that he's taken.
Yeah, it's been very unique following this mental pathway that Joe Gacy has taken. Similar to when I watched the Bray Wyatt documentary last night, and also, wow. Yeah. You think about, again, how much, of himself he put into what he did and how passionate he was. I kind of get the same vibes with Joe Gacy and the mental warfare that he causes to everybody else. So I have to agree with you. This is the strongest Joe Gacy's probably been in his NXT career. And that's saying something, considering he's been part of this thing since the Rainbow Bright era and somehow survived that. So, again, all valid points to Joe Gacy still moving forward, even in defeat as far as the decision goes with this match when the bell rings. We're all with the chairman, but somehow we support Joe Gacy's madness. I don't know if that's a safe thing, but certainly is interesting. All right. Well, let's go into the main card, shall we? And we'll talk about this first match, which I think is a nice way to kick things off, because more often than not, it's not a ladder match. The NXT North American Championship usually sets the pace as this unstoppable force, Oba Femi, defends the gold against the two men that are not named Shawn Spears and Joe Gacy, Josh Briggs and Dijak. And when you look at these two men, they've kind of been going at each other for the better part of the last few months, ever since the fallout from NXT Deadline. And, of course, Josh Briggs, he's kind of been doing things on his own now, trying to find himself, new attitude, new outlook, like Dijak. He's been the guy that's been, I'll say it once, I'll say it again, going after this championship since the freaking black and gold. And if you didn't watch Dijak's exclusive, he said all he needed is a chance. And here's another thing to figure out when it comes to Dijak. And by the way, that's my pick. Dijak has been involved in this company for so long. This is the first time he's involved on WrestleMania weekend. How's that for an outlook? If Dijak does not get his due here, I don't know when. Triple threats are always what I say they are. Buffer, ball person. Oba Femi, we saw what he did at Vengeance Day in the, soft spots main event. Pretty good stuff for Dragon Lee. He's got a lot of upside to him, but he's still very green. And he's working on that. I respect it. Again, breakout tourney winner, JJ. But Dijak's been there, the established guy, forever. And I think he definitely deserves this. It's truly been what he's been seeking for the longest time and across all eras of NXT. So I'm going with Dijak here. I think we get a new NXT North American champion. Give Dijak a WrestleMania weekend moment. Chris, what's your take on this?
Well, this is going to be a fun triple threat match with Obafemi, Dijak, and Josh Briggs. I feel like this match has the potential to like tear the house down. And personally, I hope this could be the opening match to set the pace of the rest of the show. But I just don't think this is the opening match on Saturday at Stand and Deliver. I'm enjoying Dijak. He deserves to win a championship, but I don't think he win it just yet. I got Obafemi to retain the North American Championship on Saturday. And in these triple threat matches, you have a buffer, you have a fall person, and I think the fall person is going to be Josh Briggs. I have a gut feeling they're going to protect Dijak in a way so he won't lose momentum that he's been gained on these past couple of weeks. But I do feel Dijak will have his moment, maybe at NXT Battlegrounds, that's going to be taking place on June 9th. So I do think Dijak will win it there, but I'm not sure if he'll get to that point, but I think Dijak will be North American Championship down the road.
All right, that's fair. Let's go around the horn here and get some thoughts. Again, it's a light card. Let's have some fun here. We're going to go counterclockwise this time. So, JJ, what's your take? Obafemi, breakout tourney star. Again, very dominant force. He's had, 3 defenses, I think, so far? He had 1 defense, I think, against Brooke Jensen. He had, of course, the defense against Dragon Lee after taking it from Dragon Lee. And he's also defended, I believe, against Lexis King. What's your take so far on Obafemi's presentation, his introduction into NXT, which is what really this has been so far? Do you think he still needs the NXT North American Championship right out of the gate in his career, or do we pass off the towel, maybe give it to somebody else to build it up while Oba maybe takes himself in a different direction? Because Oba stands alone, a monolith on his own, but doesn't mean he needs the title.
See, when you put it that way, I don't really know, because I feel like Obafemi is still really defining himself. And I think that the North American Championship can help define him. Look at what it did for Wes Lee. Look at what it did for Carmelo Hayes. Really kind of helped define their identities.
What about Dominic Mysterio?
Oh, yeah.
At the same time, like I was saying...
Raise your hand, brother. Continue, JJ.
At the same time, I totally get where you're coming from as far as Dijak goes. I definitely don't think Briggs is walking out with the title. As much as I like Briggs, as much as he has been gaining momentum, I don't see him walking out with the belt. Not yet. But hearing you talk and put over how long Dijak has been fighting for this really makes me wonder if he's finally going to get this. If he's going to have kind of like the Becky Lynch moment last year where he's finally going to get that belt he's been chasing all this time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go ahead and go with Dijak as well.
Hey! I'm not into it, sir.
And let's not give any unconfirmed information. Battleground is still scheduled for May 26th, as far as we can tell. WWE hasn't changed the date yet.
Not until we see a press release from WWE.com itself.
So let's not give out false information, please.
Yeah, again, we here at the Gentleman Multiverse Media do not believe in buying into RUMORS. Anyway, Emmanuel, What's your take on the NXT North American Championship? Again, Josh Briggs, Brooke Jensen, former NXT Tag Team Champions. We've kind of seen both men go their separate ways, particularly in the last couple of months, though. I would say Josh Briggs has had more momentum as a single star and more moments. Let's not forget, he was part of the Iron Survivor. That's a hard combination of words to say. Iron Survivor Challenge last year. Very effective showing, where it's almost like he and Dijak were trying to one-up each other. In a way, it kind of feels like two matches here. And I see that sometimes with triple threats. And Obafemi, he's the one that says, I will take you both. So here we are. So, Emmanuel, what's your take on this? Who you got?
Yeah, I'm having Obafemi to win over this match, dominating and overpowering both men at the same time. Probably a double power bomb spot, possibly, depending on how strong he really is. Because you know he's super strong. But have we seen his full strength yet? Because we haven't seen like a heavyweight person like for Oba to do. So it would be impressive and show like, dang, like who's that mother effer? And then like, that's Oba. That's Oba. Like, who is the man? Like like just like John Chow, you're in trouble once you're facing Oba. And right now, story wise, Josh and Dijak, they're really, want the championship by themselves, but it seems like there's going to be conflict, trying to like face each other and get distracted. So that's why I think Oba will take it over them both in the end.
I mean, this is literally a match of three different powerhouses, if we're being perfectly honest, also with a great balance of speed and agility. So it's a fair take. Arlene, where do you stand? And here we go, folks. Let's see how well these two agree or disagree. So we got Obafemi for Emmanuel. Arlene, what about you?
I agree with my brother. He just won the title. I don't see him losing the title just as quickly. I think they need to keep it on someone for a while, and I think Obafemi is the person to be holding it for a while. I do feel like maybe if there is a NXT Battleground, maybe Dijak gets a one-on-one opportunity with him there then. But I think Obafemi needs to hold on to it for a little bit longer. So I think Obafemi is going to be walking out champion here. Just because they need to, he just won it. I don't like him losing it right away, especially since he's I seen him wrestle and everything. So I think he needs to work out a little bit more with the title and with other wrestlers, and then before leading maybe to that rematch between him and Dijak and maybe him winning it there. But I don't see it right now.
Okay. Well, Jeff, we got basically 3 Obathemis and 2 Dijaks, no Josh Briggs. So where do you stand in the NXT North American Championship? For the longest time, I think JJ, me, and you were the most critical about this title being, not on the right person for a substantial amount of time. And the last time that actually worked was Wesley, to JJ's point, but he got injured. And to that point, we have not had somebody hold the NXT North American Championship for that longevity since. So, Jeff, do you think Obafemi could possibly be a guy that could get to that point? Do you think Dijak, with the fact that he's been so hungry for this, wants to strive for that point and can succeed it? Do you think maybe this is one of those Hail Marys where Josh Briggs gives us the ultimate what the F?
Well, my personal look on it is looking back on the history of the North American Championship. You have some big guys that held that title. Keith Lee.
Yep.
Bronson Reed.
Yep.
You've had a couple other. Trick Williams held it. But here's the kicker: the big guys haven't held it for very long.
Nope.
These big guys who are supposed to be, the kind of unstoppable, and they're losing the titles quick. You blink and they no longer have the title. I think Oba has impressed me since coming into the breakout tournament. He really impressed me when he won the championship. Who would have ever picked him to win it?
I didn't.
That's the thing. I mean, the percentage would be small because he's still green, as you said. He was just coming out of the tournament, a new name, and nobody knew who he really was. And he is now carrying a title. He is, week by week, he is showing us who he is, what the parts of him are. And with each week that goes by, I have been more and more impressed with this guy. I'm just hoping that they keep the title on the big man. Don't make him drop it. Not yet. We've had this happen with big guys too much in the past. Keep the big guys, the ones that basically run the show. We thought Keith Lee, him winning the title and then dropping the North American title, and soon after that, look where he went. Gone. Bronson Reed held the title, 340 pounds and gone. Don't do this to Obafemi. This guy is a natural talent. I think that Oba is going to come out victorious. Yes, I would like to see Dijak win it because of the longevity, as JJ had mentioned. He's been fighting for this title since Keith Lee, and I would like to see him win it. And yeah, he's kind of a local boy. He's only from the state just south of me. So, I kind of root for him, but I don't take the title off the big guy yet. I think that once this match happens, Josh Briggs, love him as a tag team dude, not so much as a singles dude. I see him as being obviously the one taking the pinfall. But Dijak, I think once it's down to Dijak, Oba, one-on-one, let it happen then. It doesn't need to be at a pay-per-view. Have it be on NXT Live TV. We've seen title changes before on live TV when it's not a pay-per-view.
Right.
Why not just do it on live TV? Don't do it yet. Build up the story between the two and then do it. Because, yes, a big guy is losing the title, but another big guy is gaining the title. So
Sure.
I'm okay with that. And Dijak has been going at it for years for this title. So it will be well-deserved when he does win it, but it ain't going to happen at Stand Deliver. I got Obafemi.
All very good, fair analysis. Well done, everybody. Again, I think at this point, though, Dijak's just overdue. Oba's just developing, and then there's Josh Briggs. What's he doing yet? Don't know. So it finally gets placed.
But see that quick to dismiss attitude with Briggs is exactly why he could benefit from this.
Exactly.
I mean, you think back at some of the great tag teams in history. Raise your hand in this room if you thought that The Miz was going to be the Shawn Michaels out of Miz and Morrison was going to become the Marty Jannetty.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody. And now Miz is a 2-time Grand Slam champion.
Yep.
So, just illustrating a point here.
It's a fair point. And right now, Brooks Jensen, he's not even involved at all in WrestleMania weekend. Yes,
No.
Emmanuel.
Can we eliminate and delete the word Janae? That's a nasty word for anybody. That just kills careers. Let's get over the Janae. That's in the 80s. We're in the 2024s. It's time to move on for the Janae's and what happened back then. No one wants to bury anybody else. Let's be honest. It's done. It's done. It happened in the past. Let's move on. Let's give people a legitimate chance, or those tag teams will never have a legit shot at anything.
The reason that the word still exists is because you can say who's going to be the Shawn and who's going to be the Jannetty of a team. Everybody knows exactly what you're talking about.
It's a relatable thing across generations of tag team wrestling, no matter what company you look at. In a way, I almost was thinking about that with the little television. Mostly Machine Guns. Chris Sabin got the world title for a cup of coffee. Alex Shelley held the world title much longer. Alex Shelley a bit more distraught and despondent to Chris Sabin. So again, I'm just putting the piece together. It's one of those mentalities that basically fits tag team wrestling, no matter what company you look at across the board. It's always a thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of tag team wrestling, since we are talking about tag teams, let's go ahead and talk about the tag team championships, shall we? Although I don't know if we're going to have a Mario Tenay Shawn Michaels situation here, but I do think somebody is going to break somebody else here. We have the NXT Tag Team Championships on the line as Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin defend the gold against the winners of the, I can't believe that actually happened, Triple Threat #1 contendership, as we saw just on NXT. How these freaking two did it. Nathan Frazier and Axiom. No, folks, that's not the Flash and a Power Ranger. That is A-Kid and somebody trained by Tyler Black, a.k.a. Seth freaking Rollins. I know, it's confusing, right? And, of course, Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin, they won these titles off of the family in quick fashion and have demonstrated incredible cohesion since after winning the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic against Trick Miller Game, who are going to stand deliver in the main event. That being said, I'm just going to say this before I give it to Jeff. Did everybody forget that Bron Breakker is officially signed to SmackDown?
Nope.
Okay, just about to make sure. So go ahead, Jeff. What's your thoughts on this?
That was actually going to be a point that I was going to make. You've got a team of main rosters versus a team of NXTers. That's what I'm considering this, because even though Baron has been in NXT, he's still, in my eyes, main roster. Yes, he's having a little bit more success now than the plethora of personas that we've seen. But, I think this, first of all, this pairing, who would have thought this would have worked out? Not me. Not me. Oh, shush.
I knew it was going to work.
It's like oil. It's like oil and water. Yeah, it's like oil and water. That's what it is. It's like
it's an ego trip.
Yeah, but the promos they cut together are just absolutely hysterical. And they mesh very well. And honestly, what I see happening is, okay, first off, I've got Axiom and Nathan Frazier winning the titles because we already know Bron Breakker is signed with SmackDown. So he's going there directly after. He could bring along Baron Corbin, and the Wolf Dogs could be on the main roster as a team because they are doing phenomenally well. I mean, it's just like I'm kind of like thrown back of how well they've been doing. You got the power, you got the speed, you got Mr. 22 miles an hour we're talking about here with Bron Breakker, and it's just, it's nuts. It's crazy. But, I mean, it's just, don't break up this team. This team is working. And honestly, we need more teams on the main roster because personally, the Judgment Day is running out of teams to fight at this point. Bring on Breakker and Corbin. Keep this momentum going that they're doing in NXT and bring them up to the main roster full time. And that, I think, is what you're going to find after Stand and Deliver with Braun coming up, which is why I went with Axiom and Nathan Frazier, the unlikely team, to win the tag team titles. I'm sorry. I had Good Brothers. I had Good Brothers winning that match. But, I'm okay with Axiom and Frazier. Total opposites of Corbin and Breakker. You got speed versus power. Does power always reign over speed? No. And this could be a very good case of that. So I'm rooting for Corbin and Breakker, but I know that it's going to be Axiom and Frazier going away with the titles.
I think it's safe to say across the board here, we expected the titles to be taken off of Baron Corbin and Bron Breakker due to the fact that Bron Breakker is signed to SmackDown. They've had a great run. It's been a great presentation, but NXT Stand Deliver, I expect at least one title change, and this was like the most definite. So I'm just going to simply say it. Unless you all think that Bron Breakker and Baron Corbin are going to retain, we will move on, and I will consider it a unanimous spot. So Going what? Really?
Well, at least they're agreeing.
That's fair. Go ahead, Arlene. Give me your thoughts. How is Bromberg and Baron Corbin retaining? Wow.
I feel like someone's going to interfere. That is why I think they're going to retain. I think Good Brothers or some other team is going to interfere, and it's going to cause the Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker to retain. Now, I liked his Jeff's theory about how like if they lose the titles, they called up. Take this for what it is. There is a rumor going around Twitter. Like I said, it's a rumor. Take it as it is.
Right.
That they're talking about replacing Austin Theory and Grayson Waller for another team. Just saying. Take it for what it is.
Yeah, because
Could it be
WrestleMania hadn't started
Breaker?
yet. Yep.
Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin could be that team. I'm just saying. So it could be possible that they lose that title, but I don't know. I feel like this is not going to be. I feel like there's going to be some interference. But just to emphasize Jeff's point, he does have a good point. And like I said, it's just a rumor that's going around Twitter that they're talking about taking down Austin Theory and Grayson Waller for another team. So who knows? But take it as it is. But I think they're going to retain.
Okay, Emmanuel, I saw your hand virtually go up the same time as her. Who knew siblings could coexist? Emmanuel, so unless you got anything further to add to Arlene, you basically just want to say I agree with her, or did you add something else?
No, I was agreeing with her. Then she went back. I'm like, where are you going to with this, Arlene? Where are you going with this? Because the interference caught me off guard. I'm like, that's not what I'm thinking. But
what are you thinking?
I'm just saying, Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin just win cleanly. I mean, it's not the first time or the last time a main roster superstar keeps the title for a pay-per-view. Look at Becky Lynch. Look at like you could name like a bunch of people who has kept that title, like Dolph Ziggler, like who was main roster and kept the title and would switch him around. I just feel like there's more to the story. If they lose, it feels like there's more development for teams like Axiom, and like I don't feel that as them as a viable team, like to be like they're more of a chasers than the title holders. But that's my point of view.
All right. I see, Chris, you have your finger up, unless you're trying to acknowledge somebody that's not involved in the show and piss me off.
No, this is technically my hand being up.
Okay, got you. So what's on your mind, Chris?
These two teams had a match on NXT like a couple weeks ago.
They did.
They did. I think for the Dusty Classic.
Yep.
Who won that match?
Well, considering who holds the gold, I think that answers the question.
Well, I have a gut feeling. I know that Braun Breaker, he signed to Friday Night SmackDown, and they showed a package with Braun Breaker last week on SmackDown. And personally, I feel they wanted to give the Wolf Dogs the opportunity to hold the NXT Tag Team Champions. Just give them a run at least and finally put gold on Baron Corbin. But now this is Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania weekend. This is Braun Breaker's final hurrah in NXT. Yeah, to me, I did pick the Good Brothers to win the triple threat tag team match. But I'm shocked that Nathan Frazer and Axiom won. But I think it's time that Nathan Frazer and Axiom become NXT tag team champions. And if they want to go into a feud with the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, I will be up for it.
I can see that, honestly. JJ, I'll be honest with you. I've been actually, for transparency, I don't watch NXT Weekly, but I do watch all the highlights. That's how far I've come to care about this brand, 90%. But JJ,
I appreciate that.
JJ, Good Brothers are former TNA, WWE, IWGP Tag Team Champions, and they couldn't even make it to Stand Deliver in your NXT. They're more irrelevant now than ever before. And AJ Styles is like the only guy that matters out of the entire OC. Even Micha's not doing a damn thing. So I understand your hesitancy to the Good Brothers, but I was like, okay, experience levels. Let's have a team lead by experience. I'm waiting for the day Braun Breaker spears Baron Corbin. I'm calling it right now. He does that Saturday when they drop the titles because I do call for a new tag champ. But first off, one, your decision, and two, what do you have against the Good Brothers? And were you expecting Frazier and Axiom to be part of this? And go ahead and give your pick to close this out.
I was completely expecting Frazier and Axiom to win that match. They're the only established NXT tag team. The other two teams are from freaking SmackDown.
Well, okay, I get that, but
I mean, come on. It's like the LWO and the Good Brothers are the freaking jobbers of the SmackDown Tag Team Tournament for the ladder match, so they went down to NXT to try to win a tag title, and they failed there too.
damn.
Stop me when I'm telling lies. I like the Good Brothers, don't get me wrong, but there was no way they were going to win. They were sent down there to make Axiom and Frazier look good. And you know what? Mission accomplished. Because now we believe that Axiom and Frazier actually have a shot against Big Bad Braun Breaker and the man of 532 gimmicks, Baron Corbin.
Right?
Accurate.
And you talk about how unlikely of a pairing they are. Oil and water shouldn't work, but their promos are hilarious. Sounds a lot like the Rock and Sock Connection to me.
Yeah.
That was like the first
So
song pairing.
that's why I knew that they would work if they were given a chance to run. Because it's worked in the past. It'll work in the future.
As far as the
Odd
present goes,
couples always make for good television. That's why there was a TV show for years called The Odd Couple.
I never saw that show.
Just saying.
I got one quick thing.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go on what Arlene had mentioned and of that rumor. If it is them, okay, if
Keyword if.
I could actually see it, because here's the thing.
Hi, Jeff.
Breaker has been in ladder matches.
Yes.
I mean, the one we all know of that we remember is Johnny Gargano. You know, that one was a big one for, I think that was to figure out who was going to get advantage in War Games.
Correct.
Was that okay? We know Baron Corbin's been in ladder matches. Hell, he was Money in the Bank winner. Not that we like to admit it, because he obviously failed, but he did.
We don't talk about that.
Mahal 2017. No.
But he did win the ladder match. So I can kind of see, if that rumor happens to be true, that it is, and it could be, Corbin and Breaker. It's a very big possibility. So when she mentioned that, I'm like, yeah, they both were successful in their ladder matches. It would be a good 6-person team to get in there if Theory and or A-Town Down Under, we'll just call them that, if they are no longer in it, that would be the perfect one to put in. So I could see it.
Experience does
I-
speak volumes.
I had another team that I put into that match last night.
Yes, it is.
You can watch Simply Predicting, but they're free agents as of April 1st.
And they're not booked currently for anything the entirety of WrestleMania week.
And the last time they wrestled was in the 2300 in Philly for TNA TV tapings.
Yes. And I can't wait to watch that tomorrow night. Freaking Nick Nevin versus Alex Shelley. Let's freaking go. That's generational professional wrestling, damn it. But that being said, just be clear, JJ, you are picking new tag champs in Nathan Frazier and Axiom, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, then. Well, at least the majority believes that the titles are going to finally be removed from Braun Breaker out of circumstance that he's on SmackDown. But anyway, this is going to be interesting. And I'm curious to see if that's the last we see of the Good Brothers and the LWO with this NXT established team holding the gold. Again, you talked about it yourself. We'll see.
I will say I don't think it's the last we see of the Good Brothers because I pointed this out on my review this morning. If you looked at the lower third, it said SmackDown for LWO, but it said NXT for the Good Brothers. So I think they may be doing a brief stint down there, much like Dijak, much like Corbin, coming down to kind of establish and help put people over. So they may become the number one contenders to the new champions and start a nice rivalry and feud with them. But they hadn't been down there long enough to get thrown into this match yet.
Okay. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. But again, we're talking about established stars versus rising stars. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. The greatest representation and respect and booking and growth and development and longevity in women's professional wrestling, damn it, is the TNA Knockouts division. But arguably number 2 right now might truly be this freaking brand of NXT. For your words and Datura and I agree with you, JJ. So go ahead, talk about your favorite student from Chase U and these other rising stars in this 6-woman tag, as it's Thea Hale, Fallon Henry, and Kalani Jordan taking on Jessie Jane, Kiana James, and Izzy Dame. Why did that sound like a Dr. Seuss line? Anyway, that being said, I'm just saying, good grief. And of course, we know that Jessie Jane's running mate is injured, but probably won't be that far from ringside if you saw NXT yesterday after Jessie Jane knocked the F out of Fallon Henley with that damn knee to the face. She's a piece. Now, I will say this. I have given Thea Hale a lot of damn slack because she is a girl that needs to be on decaf. But it's nice to know that she has some friends that basically go along with her attitude, her adrenaline, and the same dynamic where it's basically the mean girls versus the girls that are on the outside, and they're all right with that. And that's all I'm going to leave it as far as my perspective. I'm not saying anything else. JJ, this is your women's division on display at your NXT, including your favorite, and you've seen what happened when she tried to become toxic, but for you, stayed pure. Does Thea and her friends get it done against the mean girls not wearing pink?
First and foremost, let me say, don't start with me, Arlene. that she always finds her way into the chat room on my NXT reviews, and she always tries to push my buttons about Thea Hale turning heel. Don't start with me, Arlene.
Oh my.
That being said,
go ahead.
She knows I love her. I love her and her brother for what they do, as you pointed out earlier, but don't start with me. Look, the bottom line here is this. Do I still ride with Thea and her friends? Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay? The heels were made to look way too strong on Tuesday. Now, tradition would dictate that if the heels look strong on the go home, the baby faces are going to get the victory.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a cause and effect here. The biggest question mark for me in this match, honestly, and it doesn't have anything to do with them turning or whatnot, but it's Izzy Dame. She's the piece of the puzzle that doesn't really fit.
Completely agree.
I mean, I know she's Kiana's ride or die right now, so that's why she's there. But everybody else in this match has made an impact on NXT television in recent months. Izzy is the X Factor. I know I'm not talking about that shitty-ass X-Pac group. Izzy is the X Factor because we don't really know what she can do, what she can bring to the match, how good or bad she is. You know? Kalani Jordan has superstar written all over her.
Bar none. Breakout tourney. Bar none.
Fallon Henley, one of the most underrated women in the NXT women's division.
Former Tessa Price, right out of my bi-state area, and also the person that sent Tiffany Stratton humbled on the countryside.
And then you've got my girl Thea Hale, Chase U represents. I will admit that maybe she could use a little bit of decaf every now and again, but you take that energy away from her and you deflate her entire character. Because that energy is what makes her. That energy is what drew me to her.
All right.
You look at Duke Hudson, you look at Andre Chase, and then you look at her. She made you take notice of Chase U. Then you go to the other side of the equation. I already mentioned Izzy. You've got Kiana, former women's tag team champion with Fallon. Kiana has definitely made her name in recent memory. I could definitely see her getting a call up at the next draft. JC really kind of, along with GDG, kind of floundered after the breakup of Toxic Attraction. It wasn't until she found this storyline to stick her teeth into that she really started doing anything of prominence. This match, in my opinion, should have just been Thea and JC. That's where the money is.
Right.
But it's WrestleMania. You want to get as many people on the card as possible.
Right.
And that's why we have what we have. But the baby faces take this.
Couldn't have said it better myself as far as the result goes. And I will, I'll say it on tape. Despite my outlook on Chase U's pride pupil, you're right. It was her character that made me criticize, but took note of what the hell is this in the first place to know that she and Chase U exist. Still not a credit institution, even with a calendar fundraiser. Anyway, I think the end game, as you said, I stand by what I stand by. To your point, JJ, I agree with you completely. The end game has to be. The end game has to be Thea Hale versus JC Jane, and then after she gets over this bully and maybe graduates from Chase University, maybe she once again goes after the NXT Women's Championship. Because the first place that JC and Thea became a thing was after her professor threw in the towel, and she never basically forgave him for that. And it looks like finally old wounds have healed. But yeah, as far as the showcase goes, that's the important bit. I think the result here is pretty unanimous. It's got to be the baby faces, because how many times do the heels always got to be the ones to get the better of the underdog? It's a story as old as time itself in cinema and movies. So does anyone here believe the heels actually beat the babyface side? Go, whoa. Well, I mean, JJ, she didn't start with you, but she has an opposite opinion to you. Yes, Arlene.
She's probably going to think that Thea's going to turn heel here because that's what she's been wanting all this time. And she was just playing everybody all along. She's really still aligned with JC.
I didn't even think about that, actually. This is why I think the heel, I know they look kind of strong at the end. My thing is they have Jasmine, that's the other girl, right?
Jasmine.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to get her name right. Yeah. I mean, okay, she's not even using this. Don't even get me started, because I work in healthcare and I see her, like, the way she has her album. Like, come on, at least like study people who have had injuries before to actually make it believable that even though she's not really injured, you know. Anyways, yeah, but I feel like JC Jane's gonna get the pin on Thea, and this is gonna lead to a one-on-one with her and Thea in NXT Battleground or whatever pay-per-view is going to be next. I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think JC James is going to put her foot on the rope and steal one from Thea, and Thea is going to be like, oh, so mad, she's going to want a one-on-one. And this is what's going to lead up to it. Either that, or Thea's going to pin in JC Jane and she's going to want a rematch, which I don't see, like, you know, but that's what I think is going to end up happening. There has to be the end game, like JJ says. How do you get there? She ends up screwing Thea and like you know, cheating to win over her, and Thea's like, you didn't beat me fairly. I want a one-on-one, and this is gonna leave. So that's why I think the baby faces are gonna lose and the heels are gonna win.
You know what I love
'Cause
so
you
far
gotta-
about this card? It's so polarizing.
But I wasn't even thinking about that because I think her time is failed. Like her time is gone. Like if this was like all like a ruse, like ha ha ha, like and she's like laughing with the other girls, like good on them. Because like I honestly think that ship has sailed. I think they missed the opportunity with Thea to turn her heel. She does need to go away from Chase U. I think she has enough potential to be by herself and establish a name on her own. She doesn't need Chase U anymore. I'm sorry.
I will say this, Arlene. I will say this. If the storyline had developed the way that it has, and Cora hadn't got injured, forcing Roxy to turn heel, I could see Thea turning heel. But Thea right now is one of their money baby faces because of that spunk and that fire and that energy. We already had Roxy turn heel, who I always thought was going to be the Ricky Steamboat, the forever baby face. And they had to pull that trigger because of Cora going down with the injury.
Ding.
If Cora had stayed healthy and Roxy had stayed face, I could have seen Thea turning heel. But it ain't happening. Let it go.
All right.
I let it go. I'm just saying that there has to be a way for them to get their one-on-one, and I feel like this is the way to go. There has to be a reason for there to be a one-on-one, and that's why I say Jason James is going to pull one up on Thea, and they're going to end up getting their one-on-one on the next pay-per-view. Or the next NXT.
I agree there has to be a way to get the one-on-one. JC is such a bitch, though, that Thea and company could be celebrating their victory, and she just lays into her post-match celebration, and that's how we start the ball winning to the one-on-one. You couldn't beat me on your own. You needed these other girls to help you win.
Right, the pride thing. I mean, look how long they went with Gigi Dolan and JC Jane. And Gigi Dolan's being turned into Beauty Queen, courtesy of Santino Marella's daughter. And again, it's the end story here to this. Thea Hale, Jesse Jane, win this feud, get the better of JC. I think you pretty much both hit the nail on the heads. And again, I love the fact right now it's 1-1. Chris, I saw your hand up first. Then we'll go to Emmanuel and Jeff will finish it out. So, Chris, what's your thoughts on this? What side do you have winning?
I have the baby face winning. I'm with my buddy JJ. The Chase U sign. I'm digging it. And Thea Hale, she is not turning heel. I like her being crazy at the moment. But something just triggered me here. I know you guys said Izzy Dane is the X factor. I know Ava was on a phone call last night, and NXT Anonymous picked it up, and Ava says NXT will always be your home. I know Gigi Dolan is doing something with Ariana Grace.
Right.
What if Izzy Dane gets pulled from the match? What if that phone call, and we haven't been hearing her name recently, but what if she makes an unbelievable comeback this Saturday at NXT Stand and Deliver? And it was actually 2 years ago in 2022. She was the former NXT Women's Champion. What if this Saturday we see the return of Mandy Rose?
First off, never say never. Secondly, JJ will collapse on air. And third, I know Mandy Rose has connections with Jesse Jane, but Mandy Rose doesn't belong anywhere in this story. Again, we got to look at the story, not just the match. And the story here is Thea Hale and Jesse Jane. Yes, JJ.
She says that we're excited to see you on the countdown. which means that whoever this mystery person is will be part of the kickoff, not the actual show.
Ah.
And she also says you will always be part of the NXT family, not that NXT is their home.
Botch.
If
Okay.
we're really going here, I'm thinking it's Paul Heyman. We're in freaking Philly. She's the
True.
daughter of The Rock.
And
Just
also,
saying.
to your point, Paul Heyman had a helping hand with Triple H when NXT was developing. Let's not forget, your boy, Austin Theory, was personally brought in by Paul Heyman. So those roots of Paul Heyman and NXT go way back. So again, suspension of disbelief. As far as this match goes, I don't think the setup of the 6 changes, but I do agree that the baby faces get the win because it's all been heel from this point. Yes, Emmanuel. Your pick.
No, I was just going to ask a simple question. Does Riley get the kiss to Thea, win or lose?
Who gives a damn
Yes.
about...
Yes.
No,
Yes.
No,
Yes.
We are not trying
You know
to
what?
do a
Just
Phoenix
to
soap
spite
opera.
JJ, I hope Riley kisses Fallon instead of Thea, and then make her turn heel. I'd rather
All
see
right,
that than.
I was trying to focus on the wrestling, not a damn soap opera for teenagers that are looking for their first kiss before they freaking have their first... Never mind. Anyway, Emmanuel, y'all shut up. Emmanuel, what's your pick for this match? All right? Jesus, peace.
I mean, like, already, my sister already made a compelling story. It makes sense in her way that if JC does win, like, and cheats, that makes a legitimate reason why Thea wants more of a match. But in the end, it's Team Babyface. It has to be them. Like, that's the real money. What the storyline is going. And hopefully Thea, finds more motivation, more of an attitude change, because she's back to her old ways, and that's nice and everything. Like her spunky attitude, that's what draws to Shay's you, but what's next to her story? Like what's next to her character? Like I want to see what's next for Thea Hell out of it. And that's what's kind of missing right now. What's next?
Yeah.
That's where Riley comes in. That's what's next.
We leave the stupid.
We have to have that moment.
Freaking romance in wrestling. What a freaking concept. Anyway, so Emmanuel
Did
and
the
Arlene,
Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth not have their moment?
That's different. These two are not up there with
Did Test and Stephanie not have a wedding?
Ugh. Yeah, remind me of that shit.
Do we have to go through all of these? Like, come on.
No, we don't. But I know this. I don't need to see them.
And I'm not even calling for a wedding here. But I'm just saying, let's give them this moment. Shove it back in JC's face.
God bless this.
Despite all the advice that JC gave Thea, the horrible advice. Now Thea is back, true to herself, who she is, not who she wants to be, not who JC wants to be, and she gets the kiss afterwards.
And then with
It's a WrestleMania weekend moment, Noah. Have a heart.
No, I will
I'm not talking about Brett, Owen, or Natalia. Have a heart. I love getting Jeff to crack up.
Damn it, JJ. Anyway, that being said,
Go ahead, Noah. Treat me like I'm James. Give me one. I deserve it here.
Yeah, you're really, you know what? Fudge it. Superman approved. Damn it, JJ, you freaking idiot. Anyway, JJ's got Thea. Chris has Thea. Arlene has JC. Emmanuel, I believe he was saying that he wants to see Thea develop, and I guess he went with the baby faces here. So, yep, you finished things out. I also picked Thea just because. So it's 1 JC to 4 Theas. Jeff Chadwick, where do you stand?
Okay, you said this isn't a soap opera. Wrestling is a male man's soap opera. That is exactly what it is. It is my soap opera. To hell with Young and the Restless. To hell with General Hospital. I've got NXT, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown. That's my soap opera. There we go. I said it. And as far as the kiss, I could see that. I really could, because there's been this time, so she's been trying to go after him, and then of course everything happened, with between the two of them, they got separated and whatnot. Trying to get back, I see it happening. And I know you're not all about the kiss, Noah, but remember, this is the same company that we saw Mae Young give birth to a hand. Okay, just say it. But well, that's for another day and time. If we can see that, a simple kiss is not going to kill you. All right. You got two rivalries here in this match, and one could possibly lead into a rivalry, because you have Thea and JC, you have Fallon, and you have Kiana. I don't think we've seen Kalani and Izzy go at it.
No.
But honestly, I would not mind seeing it, just to see what Izzy's really all about. Now, yes, she's had a couple matches, but honestly, I don't remember them.
I didn't know she had a match.
Yeah, I know she was in a tag match once. I don't know if she had anything more than that, but she was in at least one tag match. But as far as how she did, I'm not sure. But you could have a possible rivalry with Kalani and Izzy. With that being said, I think this is the perfect combination for a tag match. I think you couldn't have, even though it was, it's Fallon, not Fallon Henley, but Kiana James's sidekick that's in this match. It's still a good 6-woman tag, because you've got major rivalries 3/4 of the way across the board on this thing.
Right.
So any way you look at it, this is going to be one hell of a match. I've got to go. Chase you. I've got to say Thea, Fallon, and Kalani pick up the victory. And it's got to be Thea that gets the pinfall. It has to be. I would like to see Kalani do it, but there'd be no purpose for it. Why? I would like to see Fallon Henley at least get a pinfall on Kiana, but the major part of this story right here is Thea and JC.
Yep.
Thea's got to get the pinfall, and I believe she finally does. And I've got them for the win.
Yeah, that's literally my outlook. Thea needs to pin JC, unless JC runs like a scolded dog. And then, to your point, the only person now involved in a rivalry here is Izzy. And I look at triple threats. You look at 3-person teams. You almost could say that Izzy is the fall person here, like Tegan Knox was on Monday Night Raw, versus Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler that have been a more established tag team. So if it's not JC, it's gotta be Izzy. Either way, right. I got Thea getting the win. And the only reason I say that is because of storytelling, not because of Chase U. I can only imagine what her line's going to be like a WWE experience. Good Lord Almighty. She's not going to be able to contain herself. Someone make sure you have medics on standby in case she has a heart attack. Overwhelming stress. Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, JJ, you cracked me up, dude.
Fuck me. Bad enough I don't watch Disney or freaking dramatic shows as it is that revolve around a love story. They're developing a love story in front of my eyes at NXT. Damn it!
I just love messing with Noah. Whenever I can get that reaction out of him, I feel like I've had a good day. Don't get me started talking about Jeff and Karen Jarrett around him.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Look at him. Look. You don't even got to say a word. Just look at him. That's all I had to say. Noah, what's the next match, good sir?
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. All of these.
How about we talk about the other women's match? Just make a nice transition there.
Yeah, why not? Because this one I truly care about. And Arlene wants to be the leading lady, and I think that's only fitting. So here we go. Let's go ahead and talk about the NXT Women's Championship as Lara Valkyria takes on a newly motivated Roxanne Perez. And after what we heard Tuesday night NXT during Supernova Sessions, dumbest reality show I've ever heard in existence, and saw Roxanne planted through the tail under one hell of a friggin' heel kick. Good God, friggin' Lyra. It's one of those things where, again, I talk about it all the time. Prodigy rises to promise, but this is a promise to the Prodigy herself, and Lyra didn't mince words. What's Roxanne been doing? Bitching. And at the end of the day, does a bitch get what she wants all the time? No. Put that in perspective. But I also think that Roxanne, I thought she was due for the call-up. But again, we talked about Cora Jade earlier. If Cora wasn't injured, this graphic would be Lyra versus Cora. I would bet my house on it. And I would probably have gone with Cora because it would be her first milestone. Roxanne's always been to the top of the dance. The only difference is now she's a heel. If they're going to hold out for Cora Jade, then Lyra, to me, has to be the one that remains tall. But Roxanne, new attitude, new identity, new motivation, new accomplishment, new run, new journey. I don't know what to think about this match with Roxanne's new attitude and Lyra now becoming the aggressive fighter I remember her being back in NXT UK. Now she's motivated. What started as a pure wrestling match of sorts that you and I called JJ at Vengeance Day, it's going to be a downright ugly physical fight with these two come Saturday. So Arlene, where do you stand with these two in the NXT Women's Championship?
I kind of have like mixed thoughts.
Good, so it's not just me.
The way it ended, like their segment ended, like Roxy going through the table. Spoiler if you haven't seen NXT, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's Wednesday. They should have seen it by now. If they haven't, they could watch For the Love of Wrestling.
That people like, I was gonna watch it tonight. I'm like, I'm sorry. I spoiled it. But so that makes me think that Roxy's gonna win because she Lyra Valkyrie's standing strong. Honestly, during the promo, I thought Valkyria kind of smoked Roxana. I'm like, oh man, like Roxana didn't really have any good comebacks, in my honest opinion. I think she needs a lot of more work on her mic skills when it comes to being heel. I'm like not really buying it kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think, but then Valkyria is making this comment like, I'll do whatever it takes to keep my title. So I'm like, is she willing to like cheat to keep it? Like, I don't know, like that kind of seemed ominous to me too. And then Aiden Paxton, like, it's like, this isn't you. I feel like, if she sees Valkyria doing stuff that, she feels like it's not her, like, she'll be like, what are you doing? This isn't you. And, like, using Tatum to, like push her in front of Roxy and then, like, cause, like, something for her to retain the title, like, because she said she will do whatever it takes. But, like, at the end of the day, it's like, I think Roxanne's going to win, just like I said, because just of the way the segment ended. But I think, I don't know. I mean, it kind of got me thinking about what you said, like she will do whatever it takes to keep that title. So I'm like, but I think the way, just based on the way the segment ended and the fact that, Roxanne really didn't get to hold the title as much as she did, I think they're going to probably end up giving it to Roxanne. But I don't know. I feel like there's going to be, like, if he means it, like, I feel like she's like Valkyria is gonna do something like that's not clean to win, just so that she can keep that title of hers. But I don't know. I feel like Roxanne, in my honest opinion, like, I think she still needs a lot of work on that mic. The way she talks, because honestly, like, I thought like Valkyria smoked Roxanne on that promo.
Yeah, like, no argument.
I'm like, damn, like, and Roxanne really didn't have a good comeback, so I think she still needs a lot of work on that. But that's where I'm going with that. I think Roxanne's gonna win the title.
What I love about Lyra and Ilya, they are incredible, intense competitors in the ring, and they both have a strong mic game where they can assert themselves, but also leverage respect to their opponents and yet showcase a weakness within them, whether it's verbally or non-verbally. I could tell on that session, Roxanne, she was like, yeah, but you could tell that she was masking, like, shit, I don't have nothing to say really in this case. And she really didn't. The Prodigy's always been known more for her wrestling prowess, okay? That was always her strength. she really hasn't developed a strong mic game. This is the first time we're seeing her try and develop a verbal character of sorts. And unlike Mello, she's kind of been missing, in my opinion, that. And I don't think it justifies her enough to be the NXT Women's Champion again. I need to see more personality besides, I'm this aggressive to break an arm. Well, guess what? Lyra kicked you in the freaking face and planted you for a table. I think Lyra's still more aggressive than you. So I kind of understand where she's coming from a WWE booking standpoint as far as this happens before the freaking PLE. Hello. But I'm thinking Lyra retains, and I think it kind of develops something else with Lyra and Tatum, and Roxanne will somehow still be part of that whole picture. But I think for right now, Lyra still holds on to the title. I don't think she lets go of it yet. And I think with this new attitude, she might even be more dangerous than ever to take the title off of her. So I'm going to split this to start with, and I'm going to say Lyra retains. Emmanuel, you can go ahead next.
Yeah, I think Roxy is going to take it, but there's a reason for it. It's not that, she's a heel per se, because she's right in everything she has said. Nothing she has lied about what she said. Like Lyra has a valid point. Like, is it her fault that indie kind of died more faster and stuff like that? But it's stuff like that she wasn't pinned. Like it's one of those storylines. It's like if she gets pinned cleanly, Roxy is gonna raise up the hand to move up in the main roster. She's not really. Oh, she only becomes a real true heel, saying she wins the title, saying I told you all that I was the real champion, and that's where it starts. For me, Roxy's heel turn hasn't fully completed yet until she wins that title. Because I feel like the Prodigy is all snug, like the snobby Prodigy that can do everything better than anybody, and people do recognize my talents and my worth. That you should ignore the rest. That's the only reason why I want Roxy to win. Because if not, then Roxy's gonna stay babyface. This is just an experiment to test the waters, because my sister made a valid point about the promo last night, and like, but it's I'm not sure how she did it in the indies, if she was healed at all at any point. Maybe she wasn't. She wasn't. Okay, then she needs practice. I mean, what's going to happen if that day comes? And she does become heel, like in the main roster, because look at what happened to Bayley. Like the happy-go-lucky baby face, like I'm happy to be here. It doesn't work long term in wrestling, WWE in general. So this is why Roxy needs this more than anybody else. Like Lyra is set, basically going to main roster, because what else is Lyra there to do? I mean, like both of them deserve they call up. So it's one of those issues that who deserves it more, who needs more time to develop the future woman of today, that's going to happen in the near future. So my pick is Roxy.
JJ, I feel like, again, I say it all the time. If Cora was here, I would think there's a new champion. Is Roxanne truly just the experiment here in place of Cora? Was it an audible with the fact that Roxanne developed this new attitude, or is she genuine in doing this? Since honestly, Vengeance Day, where she took a whole nother level of her aggressive nature to try and break Lyra's arm. I'm almost getting shades of Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and we all saw how that night ended. And yeah, I guess the heel did win, but Samoa Joe's always been that, to be fair. But Roxanne just developed this new nature. I don't know to say if that means you push her immediately back to the championship. As far as call-up goes, do I really want to see Lyra Valkyria relegated to an IKEA tag team on Monday Night Raw? Hell to the fuck no. That's a whole different conversation. And y'all know what I know. But JJ, what's your take on this? For me, this match has vested interest for me more than honestly both women's matches at WrestleMania. But I kind of feel like at the end of the day, the number one thing from Lyra, she says she can't call herself champion until she beats Roxanne one-on-one. But Roxanne is out to prove a point, and she's doing it for herself, which might be all the motivation she needs. So what's your take? I'm very curious if you might be the one that changes my mind.
Well, I'm not really sure which side you're leaning towards right now, but I have a firm feeling that Roxanne is going to pick up the victory here. I do agree with what was said about Roxy's mic ability and how she seemed kind of weak going against Lyra on Tuesday night. But I think for me, what it comes down to is a simple numbers game. There are way more babyface challengers than there are heel challengers on the NXT roster. Therefore, we need a heel champion that the babyfaces can chase. And Roxy, arguably, is the GOAT in the division right now, as far as ability in that ring. She is the best. So what better measuring stick of a champion than Roxanne Perez? As far as solidifying her heel turn, as insane, crazy, stalkerish as Tatum has been here in recent weeks, she did not seem to like the fact that Lyra was willing to do anything to keep the title.
Mm-hmm.
What's to stop Tatum from turning on Lyra and aligning with Roxy? And that helps solidify Roxy's heel turn because Tatum turned her back on her idol. Even if she doesn't stick with Roxy, just the fact that Lyra is willing to go to the darkness and do anything to keep the championship may be a moral compass that Tatum isn't willing to cross because she held Lyra in such a high regard. But bottom line is your winner and new NXT Women's Champion is Roxanne Perez.
I almost wondered Tina Paxley and Lyra Valkyria could be a side story in Lyra's fall from grace, now that you mentioned it. But I also wonder, is this it? Stories end in threes, but do I see this going all the way to the next PLE, NXT Battleground? Damn it. I'm still not fully sure in my thoughts, but it so far has been nothing but Roxanne, so fine. I guess because at the end of the day, balancing act, babyface versus heels, other subtended stories. You already got three of the biggest heels right now in a different storyline with that sixth woman. You got Ariana Grace in the storyline with Gigi Dolan. I guess it makes sense. And again, I originally thought the title was going to change hands here at Stand Deliver if it was Cora Jade. Fine, I'll go with Roxanne Perez becomes the new NXT Women's Champion. Before we move on, yes, Emmanuel, I see your hand up.
Yeah, just to add something, I read something online, but I'm not sure how true is this. Supposedly, Roxy and Jay were supposed to have a reunion as a heel tag team duo again. I'm not sure if that's even true or not, or even relevant in any way, but that's kind of weird that popped out of nowhere, to be honest.
I don't know if I buy that. I think the plan was for Cora to get the belt and then for her to feud with Roxy before Roxy goes up to the main roster. But now that Roxy has to play Cora's role, Roxanne Perez ain't going no goddamn where until Cora Jade returns.
Exactly.
And any fans in the chat room that think otherwise can see their way out.
Yep, because at the end of the day, we look at our main event in the women's division. You talk about leaders. Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez are the leaders of the NXT Women's Division, and one's injured indefinitely. I agree. I think Roxanne does get the title back. Damn it. Before we move on, does anyone have an argument for why Lyra should retain, or is it actually unanimous here? Going once. Going twice. All right, then. So at this point, we did go with the fact that there was going to be a title change, and basically what was going to be Cora Jade is going to be heel Roxanne Perez. We all have a new NXT Women's Champion. I just feel kind of bad for Lyra, but at least I know that Lyra has maybe a side story with Tam Paxley. To your point, what I thought was going to be a Mickie James Trish Stratus mentality might be more so a conscious friend mentality, and Lyra may not want to hear none of it now that she lost her title, and boom, these two have a fallout feud on NXT TV. And another story for the women's division. But yeah, I guess it makes sense right now with people, especially like Soruka getting momentum, for example, after being Billy Davenport, that you have a babyface versus heel champion dynamic. So I'll go with Roxanne.
Real
All
quick,
right.
you did mention a side story. You did mention a side story with Paxley and okay.
Yes.
After Roxanne wins the title, she could have a side story too. There's someone we haven't seen on NXT TV for over a year that has a connection with Roxanne Perez. With the fact that Roxanne Perez is now a heel, this would make an amazing rematch. Amazing rematch. Picture it. It was over a year ago at NXT Roadblock.
I know exactly where you're going.
Oh, yep.
Could we
Maiko
see
Satomura.
The final
You got
boss.
it. You got it. We haven't seen her in over a year. She hasn't made any appearance since the night that Roxanne collapsed. We have not seen her on TV since. With Roxanne taking this new heel role, Maiko has always been a face. To my knowledge,
Yes.
she has always been a face. I could see this rebrewing. Maiko very disappointed in the path that Roxanne is taking, and it starts getting a little personal between the two.
Especially when she literally trained her or put her through her training disciplines.
Exactly. And Maiko's only 44, so she's still got a few years in her tank. Utilize her. She's still signed with NXT. Utilize her. This would be a golden opportunity to relive this mini rivalry that they had over a year ago. And I say
like
mini
that.
because it was just a face-to-face, that one-on-one after the tag match they had.
Yeah.
You know, this would be a golden opportunity.
It's a brilliant thought, Jeff. I didn't even think about that. And again, ultimate babyface, leader by example in NXT. I love that. Everything right now just does make sense now that you all mentioned it, that Roxanne Perez should be the person you put anybody up against. So yeah, it all makes it seems like it's the fair choice here. So yeah, Roxanne Perez for the win. It's gonna be a hell of a match though. I can't wait to see it, especially if we're having at Vengeance Day when it was just these two under pure wrestling respect. What the hell is Roxanne gonna do now with her capability now that she's gone full heel and is desperate to win her championship back? I can't wait to see it unfold. Again, second most excited match of the show, probably my third most excited match of the entire weekend. That says a whole lot.
Yep.
All right. Well, that being said, about it. Let's go ahead and talk about this for what it's worth. As the Dawn, Tony D'Angelo, he looks to claim the NXT gold against the Czar of NXT, Ilya Dragunov. And I'm just going to say Ilya retains here. What the hell?
I'm dead.
Ilya Dragunov for the win. I don't care if he calls himself the Don. I got people in my ancestry with real Italian roots. For all I know, I might be somebody that can make things happen in certain regions of my fingers. Call yourself a Don all you want. Call yourself a rip-off soprano. I don't give a shit. Nobody right now is up there on the level of Ilya Dragunov. Ilya remains the czar of NXT. Honestly, Ilya is the reason I probably care about this NXT far more than I did last year, because he's the only real champion right now that WWE has not named Gunther. Tell me when I'm telling lies. So Ilya Dragunov retains. Bada bing, bada boom. Forget about that when it comes to Tony D'Angelo. Does anyone have an argument? Go. Of course you do. All right, Emmanuel, I saw you first. Then we go JJ and Jeff. Emmanuel, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, there was always a problem with this, with Tony, because they just lost the tag team titles, and then after the roadblock, they kind of focused him going for the NXT title. I'm like, well, that won 360 right away. I just felt like to become a tag team then go single is kind of it's kind of hard for me to see and you're like and go along with it, like, oh yeah, sure, he's gonna win the title, but leading up to it, he seems really, really confident, and and the family seems to have his back, and maybe bloodline capacity type of shenanigans, and that will cost Ilya the championship, because it's been focusing on the hand, and that's one of those things, it's time for a change, sadly. I mean, as long as I like Ilya Dragunov as the NXT champion, but it's one of those things, the ties start to shift in the NXT era, and and now it's going to be the family's era coming soon, and who's going to stop the family? Most likely, whoop that trick, but that's a different story. That's a different, that's a different story.
Led by, of course, the storyteller, but we'll get to that momentarily. But my thing is, Ilya Dragunov is a guy that you cannot break mentally. What Tony D'Angelo has been trying to do is break Ilya mentally. All these mind games, all these idle threats that the Don can whack a person, do anything with a snap of his fingers. He controls NXT. Yeah. And yes, he has damaged his right hand thanks to his underboss, and that has been the focus. But Ilya Dragunov really doesn't rely a lot on that hand. He relies on the forearm and his head. Again, Torpedo Moscow and the bomb. But why he might try to exploit a physical weakness in Ilya Dragunov, I've seen Ilya Dragunov face far more extreme circumstances than what the Don's done in NXT. And, I mean, Scarface, still my favorite movie of all time. I've heard of Godfathers. I've heard of The Sopranos. Hell, I played the Mafia franchise on my PlayStation. It's one of those things where, at the end of the day, if the Don doesn't hold up, maybe some other boss bigger than him maybe takes his way out, maybe takes his place off that chair and takes the place. I think about this new guy that brought in the lawyer. I think he sleeves in a head that could upset the Don, and I think that could be an underlying story within the family itself. It's just one of those things right now where I just don't think right now Ilya Dragunov needs to lose the title. More so, just putting the Don to the wayside. Because I respect Tony D'Angelo's work, and I've told you that about that, but I just don't think it's Tony's time right now to lead as NXT champion. That's all I got to say. JJ, I saw your hand go up next, so go ahead and tell me why you think Tony should win.
Go ahead and go to Jeff first. I wanna bring this home.
All righty. Do it, Jeff.
Well, I've all I gotta say is I think that Ilya has had a great run as NXT champion. You can't take away his ability. Even going back as far as being NXT UK champion, you just cannot take away the ability of this guy. I honestly see him being called up. I think it's his time. Renew the rivalry with him and Gunther.
Mm-hmm.
Please renew it. I've got Tony D'Angelo walking away with the title. I think that this is a good place for Ilya to end his NXT career. and a great place to start up his main roster career. I think this is the golden opportunity for him. If, of course, with that storyline would work perfectly if Gunther kept the title, I could see it possibly renewing that rivalry for the Intercontinental Championship. That's to be determined. We don't know how that's going to come out. But I still think that Ilya, one hell of a run in NXT, including UK. I think it's time for him to go up to the main roster. Just my opinion. So Tony D walks away with the championship.
I can see Tony being a future champion, but I just don't think he just gets it out the gate at Stand and Deliver, especially to your point. He just was changed from a tag team champion, and now you're pushing him towards being the NXT champion.
You could argue that, but also we argued the point that, well, Roxanne Perez just became heel. We're all going Roxanne Perez to win the title.
Yes.
Well, most of us, or whatever. So, you could make that argument with Tony D. He just came off a tag team. He was solo before he went tag team. So it's not like he hasn't had the solo career before. He's had it. So we know what he can do solo. Just as much damage as he can in a tag team. I think this is a good time for, it's Stand and Deliver, it's WrestleMania weekend. This is where storylines change. This is where the landscape changes, both main roster and NXT. This is a perfect opportunity to really change the landscape of NXT with having the Dawn as being the one leading the pack.
All right. So, JJ, again, called the Dawn. This is your NXT. You see the Dawn across the generations. You see him go from an underling to literally the boss, basically, of the family. So, that being said, boss leads by example. So, tell me why you think it's Tony D'Angelo's time. Why you got Tony D'Angelo becoming your NXT champion?
If you had asked me 2 years ago when I started watching the Rainbow Bright 2.0 era, if Tony D'Angelo would ever become champion, I would have laughed in your face.
I'll agree.
However, they don't call him the Don for nothing. He has grown. He's improved. He's developed. What a concept. It's called developmental for a reason. The only way that Tony D can prove that he truly is the Don is to defeat the Mad Dragon. Slay the beast.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to throw this little thing out, and I've already broken you guys more than once. So it's really not an achievement here to break y'all again, but just stop and think about this for a minute. Because this is the type of thing that I could see Shawn Michaels pulling. Where is Stand and Deliver?
In Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
What promotion made Philly its home base?
ECW.
What is Tony's shtick, more or less?
He's a full
crowbar.
Yeah. Say it, Noah. Say it. What if we get an FBI sighting as part of the D'Angelo family?
Oh, gosh.
I didn't think of that.
It's a little Easter egg that I could totally see them pulling for the diehard ECW faithful. And having them help Tony D become champion. Because let's be honest, Tony's not going to do it clean.
No.
Oh, hell no.
And you're going to be expecting stacks. You're going to be expecting Luca Crucifino. You're going to be expecting Adriana Rizzo. But nobody is going to be prepared for little Guido, Tony Mamaluke, the OG FBI.
I'm going to lose my damn mind. That happens.
Dude, that would be crazy.
Oh,
That's how I would book it personally. But you know, they don't want to hire a creative guy. So,
wow.
But
They're lost.
Tony D, I 100% agree with Jeff. I see Ilya getting the call up, if not the Raw after Mania, then the draft.
Yep.
And now that Triple H is fully in charge of the book, I could see the Raw after Mania actually having call-ups like it's supposed to, not being a 3-hour snooze fest like last year's was.
Oh, God.
Weren't they talking about doing away with the draft at one point?
They were.
I don't know. It seems to be the type of thing that comes and goes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change their mind. And,
you know.
Yeah.
So I could see, I think we briefly talked about this last night. I could see Gunther retaining, coming out on Raw talking about who else is there for me to beat. I've beaten everybody. And here comes Ilya Dragunov.
His only defeat.
And then that puts Gunther on the trajectory for the world title where he needs to be anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know.
I get your love for Ilya, but put that to a side for a moment and think back at the growth of Tony D. Personally, I think Legado del Fantasma should have won that feud with the D'Angelo family.
Oh, I agree about that.
When the family won that shit.
That was bullshit. I agree about that.
But that's when the true growth of Tony D really began. That was his turning point.
Yep. Tell me when you're telling lies. You're right.
Chris has been patient with his hand up. What you got, Chris?
Well, I understand where you guys are like all coming from with Tony D'Angelo being NXT champion. I just don't think he's going to win it on Saturday. I have the Mad Dragon Ilya Dragunov because I don't see Ilya Dragunov getting called up anytime soon. And I don't think they have plans for him on the main roster just yet. I would keep him down at NXT a bit longer. And when we get to the main event, I will bring this back up because I know where the next step is going to be concerning the NXT championship during the summer. So right now, I got Ilya Dragunov retaining on Saturday.
JJ?
I can kind of see where you're going, so I'll let you cook and I'll let you get to that in the main event. But I do want to pose this question. Don't you feel like Ilya has gone as far as champion as he can really go? Like, I feel like he's just banging his head on the ceiling right now. He either needs to drop the title and go to the main roster, or he needs to turn heel. That way he can freshen his character up. Because right now I feel like Ilya is just, he's done everything he can do.
Right.
Just something to ponder. And if you're thinking what I think you're thinking, Tony D would be a great adversary as well.
Arlene, go ahead and close this thing out. Are you with Ilya Dragunov, or do you see the Don holding the crown of NXT? You're muted. Botch, can't hear you.
Oops.
Technical difficulties. Can't hear Arlene. Oh, dear.
She unmuted herself, but there's no
Yeah,
sound.
I can't hear her. Yeah,
Yeah.
your microphone isn't working. If you want to type in the chat, Arlene. Plus, focus on your driving. I see you're driving, so that's all right. Just type when you can. But that being said, I get what you're saying. Where NXT is again the developmental brand. It's where you start and hope to progress. I always call it deadline, like graduation class, the finals. But as far as what he does on the main roster, that's where I'm so stagnant on. Like, I don't know what I could see him doing there. And I think that's also my suspension of disbelief. Because when I look at Ilya Dragunov, I see him as a constant fighting champion. And I know I already played out what I thought about the Intercontinental Championship, but now for Ilya in the mix, and Ilya being the only opponent to beat Gunther, an incredible match, it's one of those things where, yeah, I could see that happening. And Arlene actually says that Ilya retains too. So believe it or not, first match, it is 3-3. So it's suspension of disbelief. And plus, again, it's the first time they start facing each other. Stories tend to end in threes. I can see them running this back with the Don, maybe losing power and trying to once again restore that honor, that respect of the family and himself. Again, it's a tender story. So we'll see. All right. Well, it's been a lot of fun talk, been a lot of great conversation, a lot of polarizing opinions, but now we're going. What, Emmanuel?
Uh-oh.
Real quick for JJ, do you think the family versus the bloodline is a possibility in the next coming years?
That's a good question.
I think it would be good, but I feel like the family would have to get called up like this year because I don't see the bloodline lasting another full calendar year.
Absolutely not.
If we're getting Rock Roman next year at WrestleMania 41, then the bloodline will have to have crumbled before then. So that we can get the tribal chief versus the final boss.
Which we know.
Which means that the family would have to be called up prior to War Games, because that would be the perfect way to do it, would be the D'Angelo family versus the bloodline in War Games.
But again, long-term storytelling to be fulfilled. We'll see what happens. All right, here we go. Everybody, and feel free to do it once you see the graphic, because we are about to go into our main event, and you know what that means. So let me just put it up before I try and say anything, because I know what's about to happen.
Whoop that trick.
What?
Whoop that trick.
What?
Yeah.
Whoop that trick.
I like it.
I like it.
Oh, yeah, man. All right.
Chucky, ducky, quack, quack, dog.
Oh,
it's the only one you get, JJ. It's the only one you get.
Just wait till commentary on Saturday.
He's gonna be Booker T during this. I'm not gonna be able to say a damn thing. Oh,
I'm gonna do my damnedest to see if I can get Noah to walk off camera.
This is gonna be an interesting Saturday. I can already tell.
Oh, man.
All right, guys. Seriously, for the first time ever in WrestleMania weekend history, two African American proud men are main eventing a PLE WrestleMania weekend. Ever. That's respect, damn it. It's Trick Metal Game. It is the game. And it's the first time these two are playing one-on-one. Carmelo Hayes, him versus Trick Williams. Well. I've seen Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. I've seen, of course, Fallout with Brothers in Blood. I've seen Fallout with Brothers in the industry. I saw Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. But this right here might literally trump all of those with what we've seen develop literally across two generations of NXT. From the 2.0 to the white and gold, the whole world has been put on notice courtesy of Trick and Mello. I'm not saying anything else. Time to let it to the storyteller before he becomes Booker T on Saturday. Again, JJ, your brand. This is your main event, bruv. Take it away. Your thoughts on this. Who gets whooped?
All right. Before I get started on this, I'm going to bring up something could be kind of controversial, so I'm forewarning in advance. I actually saw this point get brought up on the show that Datilla was on last night, the A+ Hero Report or whatever, and their thoughts on the go home to NXT. And when the guy brought it up, it really made me think. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this before I go to my spiel.
Okay.
You just mentioned WrestleMania weekend, first African-American male main event in history.
Yes.
Was it a mistake announcing that in advance? Because, and I've done some thinking about this, and here's where it may become controversial. I feel like by announcing that in advance, it almost makes it seem like that history-making moment is why this is the main event.
Mhm.
Not because it's the better story, not because it deserves it, but because they want to try to make history. Personally, I feel like that point should have been made the Tuesday after NXT. Both of them in the ring, and then one of them could have brought up the fact we were the first African-American male main event on WrestleMania weekend. I think it should have been brought up after the fact, not beforehand. Because I feel like I said, I feel like it almost comes off now as the only reason it's being done is a way to make history.
I didn't think of it like that at first, but now that you mention it, what was the original selling point? The Fallout Trick Mello game. Anybody who followed this NXT knows how valuable these two players have been together as a team. Now you're seeing how valuable they perform and can create something special as individuals. But WWE's all about marketing, saying we're the first to do this in history and et cetera, sell plots. Becky Lynch even said in her interviews, she's probably going to say it in her book, how she felt that Women's Evolution was such a marketing ploy. It undermined what we do just cause versus what we are and where we're at. So I actually can see where you're coming from. It almost does feel like that maybe it would be better off seeing how this historic match plays out itself versus the representation of what this match means for professional wrestling and for the culture. You actually do kind of a point now, speaking as somebody who, again, is mixed. I did think about that at first, but yeah, that kind of just stirred me a little bit. But nonetheless, I almost wonder if commentary, we're not going to do it. I almost wonder if commentary is going to bring up that little side note at NXT Stand Deliver or even the kickoff, because to your point, probably better off afterwards, if not at all, because what really matters here? Is it the representation or is it what's being represented with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams in storytelling? Very interesting thought, JJ. Yes,
Emmanuel looked like he's got a counterpoint. Before I throw to Emmanuel, to the other three in the panel, do you agree with where I'm coming from, or do you disagree?
Yeah. I agree.
Chris?
You definitely should have waited till later.
Personally, I think it's the right decision to announce the main event early on and to make history at Stand and Deliver on Saturday.
Okay, so announcing the main event early on wasn't the question.
Right.
Making it a point that this is the first African-American male main event in WrestleMania week history, should that have been made and announced, those words, prior to the match, or been done afterwards?
Not really.
Okay.
So we're in
Arlene?
agreement.
Just give a thumbs up or thumbs down, because I still think you have an audio. Okay, she agrees too. So Emmanuel's the only one that disagrees. What's your counterpoint then, bro?
Like, I feel like it's like the Sasha Banks versus Bianca, like the first two women who are African American to main event at WrestleMania. Like, for me, like, I never thought of like, or they're black. That's enough reason for them to be main event. No, they earned the main event because they know what Trick Williams provides in the NXT. Let's be honest. Everybody's going to go whoop that Trick, and it's going to rock that stadium out of the it'll be the biggest pop, more louder than Cody Rhodes winning the title. That's it's that I'm not sure if it's genuine, loud that of a pop, but let's say it is, and it's catching on. During the Rock segment, you could hear some people going, "Whoop that Trick, whoop that Trick." It's catching. It's catching on. So it's in the storyline. It's captivating. For months we've been looking forward. Who attacked? Like Trick, and like we're waiting for it, and now it's like Carmelo who did it, and it feels like just to say, oh, because they're black, that's the reason why they become main event. That's not the reason. The reason why they are main event is because they made a compelling story that sell tickets and made you invested on that friendship dissolving, because it all started with the John Cena, "You can't see me, but when do you know it was your time?" And that's where it started. And I felt like ever since then, Trick has brought it up in a different level, more than Ilya, more than anybody in that roster, in my honest opinion. So it's great. It's like, does it take away from the match that they're the first two African American athletes to main event at NXT? It's great. I mean, it doesn't take away from it. It's like two Japanese main eventing WrestleMania for the first time, and that's the reason why they main evented without being announced. It's like why does that matter? It's great. That's history. It should be.
I agree with you that the story is there. I agree with you that they have the most compelling story. I think you missed that part of it. I'm not saying that I don't think they deserve to be the main event. They have fucking earned that right with their storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the mistake was on the Tuesday show making a point to point out the fact that it's going to be the first African American male main evented match for a WrestleMania weekend. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I feel like the fact that they made sure to illustrate that on the microphone takes away from all of the work they put in over the last 8 months.
The representation
because now it comes off as being it's about representation, not about the story told.
Yeah, I get it.
That's where I'm coming from. I'm not saying that they didn't put forth a good story. I'm not saying that they haven't done captivating TV for 6 months or whatever it is.
Right.
For me, it's
just that one line in the promo.
Yep.
Kind of deflated all of the work they've done in 6 months, though, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to get a consensus of from the room.
And so far, everyone's in agreement, because for us as fans, and we come from all walks of life here, okay? Hi, my name is Noah Foster. I'm mixed. This boy's white. We got Latinos. We got other people. We don't, designate. We all are fans of this, but we are fans of the business in the storytelling illustrated by, doesn't matter whether you're black, white, yellow, red, cat, human, boy, girl, trans. We are invested in the stories told and what happens in between those four ropes. Period. Simple as that. Arlene, you might finally fix your stuff. Go ahead and try.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was just gonna say, I think it kind of makes the title also look bad in this case, because the title's going to be the second to last match. So it makes it seem like even if Tony D'Angelo wins, it's so like you didn't get to main event the NXT WrestleMania show. So I mean, like even though it was the best storytelling, I think the title should have been the main event. Even though like Ballad and Trick did deserve it. I mean, they do deserve it. It's just like it just makes the title not seem as important. I think that's kind of where they messed up. Even though the story is better, when they should have maybe built the Tony D'Angelo and Ilya Dragunov better storyline better, and that way that it could made it there. But I think that was the only problem I found with Carmelo. Not that they don't deserve it, just like it makes just the title not seem as important. When it goes second to last. But I don't know. That's my opinion.
Fair take, because you would think the most important thing in your wrestling company is the cornerstone, the gem that everyone hopes to go for, JJ, and that would be the NXT Championship. But in a proverbial way, this match itself might as well be number one contendership, because both these men very much can plead a case for why they should be challenging for the NXT Championship. And why one's been to that dance, the other one hasn't. And I watched the Shawn Michaels video the day where he sat down alongside both Carmelo and Trick, and the comparisons that he made versus the matches he was in and where he was at that time versus who he was going up against. And again, the story being told. It all really could play out right here. So without further ado, we talk about, the illustration, more importantly, to be demonstrated by this story being told with Trick Melo Game of the Main Event, Trick Williams versus Carmelo. JJ, take it away. Your thoughts on this match. Who do you have winning Trick Melo Game Implosion?
Wow. Thank you for engaging me in that conversation, because like I said, I saw that last night and it really kind of struck me, and I wanted to get other people's thoughts on that. So I appreciate that, y'all.
No problem.
As far as the match itself, Trick Williams has been on a hell of a rise here in the last 6 to 8 months. It's not every day, hell, it's not even every year that we see an organic, meteoric rise of this magnitude.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it somewhat recently because there's definitely comparisons to one L.A. Knight, the megastar.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen all the time. I don't know if Trick is 100% ready. And there's where the back and forth is going in my head.
Right.
Trick has proven himself immensely. But at the same time, you've gotten hot. Who's to say that you're not going to cool down in the next 6 months? So you beat Melo. Great. Where do you go from there? You challenge for the title. Maybe you win, maybe you don't. Let's say you get lucky and you win the NXT Championship. Then what? You run the risk of the fans turning on you because you got too much too soon. You run the risk of Rocky sucks, die Rocky die chants type of things coming Trick's way.
Ooh.
Because he was pushed down our throats too fast, too quick. Yeah, it was organic. Yeah, we've been championing this. But how long until we get tired of it? Melo has already done stuff on the main roster. So there's also the possibility that with Trick winning, Melo could be on the Raw or the SmackDown after Mania making a debut. Maybe dabble back and forth, double dipping for a little bit so we can ride this feud out, because I know it's going to probably be at least one rematch, if not a trilogy. But I want Trick and I want Trick's fans to really contemplate how quick and meteoric his rise has been, and is the effect of it something that we're... Hold on a second. Is it something that the fans are really ready to kind of like own up to and deal with? I'm officially going to pick Trick because I feel like it is his time to shine. I feel like, much like Ilya Dragunov, I feel like Melo has hit that ceiling. He's been North American champion. He's been world champion. There's not much left for him to do in NXT. He needs to spread his wings and fly on the main roster. But before everyone goes picking Trick, I want people to think about that.
Okay. Yes, Arlene. I saw your message earlier. You can go ahead and share your thoughts real quick.
I was, because I have to go. But no, I actually was going to pick Carmelo, just to say to JJ that I was actually going to pick Carmelo to win this one. I feel like you made all the good points. Like, a lot of things that you were saying made sense to me, even before you even mentioned it. Like a lot of what Carmelo was saying rings true. Like, what's gonna happen when the next big thing comes and the Trick is just another superstar? Even if he gets called up, who's to say he's not gonna get lost in the crowd? A lot of the NXT superstars that have been called up haven't really gone anywhere. So there's that risk of, Trick, losing that steam. And then it's like, oh, well, people are going to be over him. And then what's Trick going to do, So I think Carmelo's going to win this. Then he's going to get called up. And then when it's time for Trick Williams to get called up, I want there to be like a promo where like Carmelo's like holding a title or something like that, and Trick's music comes and plays out, and his face is shocked because he didn't think he would ever see Trick Williams ever again, because he defeated him and he basically showed him that he's better than his, and that's why he should be his sidekick. And that's how I think it should go. So Melo for that win.
Wow. Here I thought it was going to be pretty much you. But okay. Well, first off, thank you, Arlene, so much for joining us and predicting. I'll see you tomorrow for the WrestleMania panel 2, where the Dominguezes will have their rivalry, and we'll also have Chris do his picks and plug WrestleMania one more time. Drive safe, and we'll see you tomorrow, Arlene. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you for having me on. Bye.
Anytime. It's always a pleasure. So, well, guys, this is interesting. It's one Melo, one Trick. Now, I will say this before we keep going around the horn, and Chris, I'll let you go next. When I was watching that Shawn Michaels video, it did put a lot of perspective for me, JJ, because Shawn Michaels compared Trick to where he is now. He's the meteoric star. He's the guy on the rise. He's the one that has to continue to prove a point and hold that pressure. You know who else had to do that and gets Shawn Michaels? The guy that had the chip on his shoulder, that was the guy that held it down, was the face, was the guy that you always, was the one that you had to like basically beat to maybe feel like you reached the next echelon. John Cena. So WrestleMania 23, John Cena, Shawn Michaels. What happened that night? John Cena beat Shawn Michaels, and it was one of the greatest matches in stories told. And John Cena, in a way, he still had to feel like he had to prove himself, prove that he was truly one of the greats, could hold up the greatest of all time. Can Trick Williams, though, do what Carmelo has done, basically, is basically the other tangent here. And it kind of was said on Tuesday. Again, these people were switching you quicker than Nintendo. Damn, that was a line. I kind of feel like, though, just because of the way the story's going, and again, JJ, you and I talked about in pre-studio chat, what Ciampa and Gargano did in raising NXT, more than one match, I think Trick and Mel could do that in more than one match still in NXT. And why Carmelo Hayes has and everything. At one point, Hayes, they were like, he's not ready. Is Melo ready? Yes, he had a match on SmackDown. Good. Okay, I get that. Trick came in on SmackDown. They whooped that Trick, but it was Florida. Are both these men truly ready for the absolute bloated nature and the pressure that is the main roster? Or do you just relegate them to a tag team of a different sort like you do every other woman, it seems? I just don't know, but I just think right now with the story being told, this is not the final act. This is the first quarter. So that being said, Chris, I saw your thoughts also as well, so go ahead and give your pick.
Well, I'm looking forward on this match a lot.
We all are.
It's a Trick Melo gang. When Carmelo and Trick debuted in NXT, I saw potential right off the bat. I saw potential in both of these superstars, and they have a bright future ahead. We saw Carmelo Hayes. He won the NXT Championship, the North American Championship. He unified the North American and the Cruiserweight Championship. Trick, he won the North American Championship and then lost a couple days to Dirty Dom Mysterio. And personally, when we were finding out who attacked Trick, I knew it was going to be Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo turned on Trick at NXT Vengeance Day, and that put the story to a whole new level. I just don't think, to my knowledge here, I'm going to say Trick is going to win. Trick is going to win because Carmelo Hayes, he was doing some stuff on the main roster, getting his feet wet, and I just feel that there's nothing left for Carmelo Hayes to do down in NXT. Carmelo Hayes, he had his run in NXT. It's time to move on. It's time to move on, go to the main roster, see what you could do there. As far as Trick goes, and I'm going to bring up what I said earlier in the NXT Championship match. Ilya Dragunov is going to win, and I think we're going to be heading towards another Ilya versus Trick match. And this time around, Carmelo Hayes is not going to be in Trick's corner. And I think this is where Trick is finally going to get his redemption on Ilya. And Trick is going to be the new NXT champion come the summer. And I think that is going to possibly also mean that Ilya Dragunov is also going to be going to the main roster. Possibly, I'm going to say maybe after SummerSlam. That's where I see Ilya Dragunov debuting on the main roster is after SummerSlam.
All right. That's fair. Well, I know that you also have to head out because you got work in the morning. So I say first pageant. So again, man, always a pleasure. I'll plug your stuff for you, so don't worry about it.
Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow night for WrestleMania.
Sounds good, man. Thank you. Again, East Coast, West Coast, we're all over the place, folks. We also do have jobs. We do this much as long as we can. Get some rest, bruv. And then there was the Tremendous Four. How's this for a 4? All right. Well, we got 2 outlooks left, and it's right now 3 Trick, 1 Melo. Manuel, what's your thoughts on this? Do you think that Melo truly has hit the ceiling and done everything possible? Is this just a one-up, or does this become a longer rivalry?
Yeah, I think this is basically a one-off, to be honest. To be honest, like everybody was kind of hoping it was Melo to betray Trick. I mean, they teased the possibility of somebody else, but no, like the fans didn't want that to happen for some odd reasons. Like, no, let it be Melo, let it be Melo, and we got what we wanted. So it's kind of ironic that we forgot about that. But it's they delivered the story. It's pretty well told. Like Melo's jealous of the Trick's recent popularity and has become more popular than he was, and he's like regretting, like, oh, I can't believe I was even friends with you because now you're taking the spotlight out of me. But the biggest question is, if once Carmelo loses, does he stay heel in main roster? Because if you follow like NXT, like it'll be kind of like a 360, like why is he all of a sudden now face? But it's proven, like, people do see NXT, like, because I think that was a couple of months ago that Carmelo was in a SmackDown match and Trick came in and like everybody going, whoop that Trick on a random.
We're also in Florida though, but yes,
on the random SmackDown, which was kind of crazy, like, and it just shows you like there's more people that do see NXT that we tend to believe. So again, like, Carmelo has done his time. He became a great champion. He became a great heel. Now we know he's ready to go. Like, there's nothing else to do. Trick needs it more because like he's the new face of the NXT basically, and he's gonna face Tony when the time is right, and become the new NXT champion and see what happens. Because once Carmelo loses, he doesn't want any more of Trick because he's like, no, I don't want it. I'm out. He kicked my butt. And there's nothing else to say about it.
So you're just simply put, Trick wins the one-off. All right. And last but not least, from the storyteller to the fun closer, Jeff Chadwick. Again, man, this is your and JJ's brand. This is y'all's main event. Where do you stand with Trick Melo game implosion? Is this the final quarter, or are we just starting maybe the first game of what could be the NBA playoffs?
Honestly, I see this as Game 7. We've seen how this has progressed over the last few months, and honestly, I don't see this going more than this one match. I think this one match is going to be the final chapter in Hayes and Williams. I have enjoyed every second of this ride for this rivalry. I mean, who attacked him, and Carmelo denying everything and trying to figure out who attacked him, and what happened to Vengeance Day, and then just everything. Every part of this has had its chapter to it. Now we've come to the final chapter in the book. I see this as a one-off. This is it. Winner, is the hero, and the loser goes off into the sunset. I was contemplating both, going back and forth. Well, what would be the positives on this one winning? What would be the positives of this one winning? And going back and forth, and I've been thinking about it over the last month or so. When we knew this was going to happen, and everything leans towards Trick. I think that this is, as we said, Carmelo's going to go up to the main roster. He's already been there, so he's practically signed. You just got to actually put pen to paper. But Trick, he's come a long way in a very short period of time. I will agree with that. I do like the fact that he's going out on his own, getting out from underneath the shadows. And where have we seen this before? Owen and Brett, brother and brother. This is almost exactly the same thing. Trick, being Owen, gets out from the shadow of Brett being Carmelo. And you couldn't, if you lined the two of them up, it is almost identical. Owen became a major superstar out on his own. I mean, hell, he beat Brett at WrestleMania 10.
Yep.
Carmelo will lose to Trick. Trick will win at Stand and Deliver, aka NXT's version of WrestleMania. It's the paths are identical, pretty much. And I don't see this to be any different. I think Trick Williams comes away the victor. We see Carmelo Hayes in a couple weeks up on the main roster. Trick goes on and has a successful singles career in NXT, culminating with winning the championship. Will I see that by SummerSlam? Probably not. I don't see it. You've got to give him a decent singles run first before putting that major title on. He's comfortable with what he's doing, but you put it on him too early, and it's going to show, that he may not be ready for that title. You want someone like Trick Williams ready for that title.
Damn right.
You have to. I mean, with the North American title, that's one thing. That's a mid-card title. That's a little different. We're talking the main title. We're talking being the main guy, the one basically leading everybody else in that locker room. That's what you're talking about here. In time, I do see it happening. I don't think it will be by SummerSlam, though. Give him time to create himself as a singles competitor, to establish himself as a major singles competitor. In time, you'll see it. But let's give this weekend, we'll go to Trick Williams, and I cannot wait to see where his career goes from here.
Well said. I can't wait to see where both these men's careers go. Again, Carmelo Hayes has been a champion since Breakout Tourney. It was the network era, Black Gold NXT with the weird barricades as we were fighting for a pandemic. Then Hype Man Trick Williams came into play during Rainbow Bright. And we've seen how far Trick Melo game has risen ever since they arrived. And that's little question, John Cena, when did you know your time was now? Because Trick wasn't sure if his time was ever going to be, let alone if he ever was going to be part of this business or this industry. It was too much for him. Well, if Trick Williams stands and delivers against Carmelo Hayes, I think that's all the proof he needs to himself that he made the right decision and only will continue to go up from here. Yep. Yes, Emmanuel.
Should the match be kind of like a hardcore? Feels like the stakes feels like more than a blood feud. It feels like it needs more than just a regular match. Because we're talking about kind of like a Triple H versus Randy Orton WrestleMania 25 type of scenario. It was just a straight up match, and it kind of felt flat in the end. So I kind of wondering if it needs more than that.
I don't think it does.
I don't think it doesn't either. But go ahead, JJ. No.
I don't think it does, but Ava did tell both of them that the referees are going to use discretion, be a little bit more lenient because we must have a winner.
Right. Yes, and that's the way it should be.
I don't think that the referee will readily disqualify somebody just for using a weapon, but I do feel like if it becomes too gratuitous and someone crosses a line, then the referee may have to step in. But I think the referee is going to be very lenient, especially in Philly.
I'll say, in Philly, fans are going to be extreme just because of the surrounding. And to your point, JJ, when did this really escalate to the point where we got when Hayes planted that chair into his knee at Vengeance Day? If nothing else, stories always go full circle. I expect the chair to come into play, and I expect Trick to have the smoking gun in hand, and he decides whether he pulls the trigger with it or with the Trick knee. And I think that is how you end Trick Melo game, at least for now, in this saga. Either way, I am looking extremely forward to this match, and I look very forward to seeing how JJ and Jeff's brand truly does stand and deliver. And I think with this discussion finally coming to a conclusion, I think we'll go ahead and say that this is the end for now for City Predicting. So thank you all once again for tuning in, gentlemen, and Arlene, by the way. It's been an absolute pleasure. Again, good luck to all of you. I will add that kickoff match and then make the form in the comments down below once this concludes. So I think before we bid ourselves a fine adieu, let's go ahead and plug up a vote and then get some shout out too, because tomorrow night, my simple agenda continues. I'm far from done because I'm crazy. Of course, we know I'm going to do WrestleMania Panel 2 with Chris and the Dominguezes, and then, of course, hype up the forum and the chat and our watch-alongs. And also prior to that, please make sure to watch Walter and James call Josh Nett's Bloodsport, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as they will call matches including Slamming Sasha and Shayna Baszler versus Masha Slamovich, easy for me to say, dadgummit, as we continue to move forward into WrestleMania weekend. That being said, Jeff, it's an absolute pleasure to always have, especially you and JJ. This is the true JJ connection. Eat it, WWE. It's always a pleasure, Jeff, having you. I know you got a lot of great fans going for you, and good luck in the predictions leagues and, of course, the ones that you host. Looking forward to having you again on City Predicting very soon in the near future. But in the meantime, anything you want, Plopable, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Meltdown on Facebook. You can find me running our prediction league as well, MWL, which we are coming up on the very end of the season with Last Stand. This before we go into bracketology, which will be in 2 weeks, who will become Season 5 champion. We will find out very, very soon. It's been a hell of a season. It's been a very long season, but we've got so much ideas going back and forth. We've got a third brand coming in now for Season 6. And JJ, you would love this. The third brand is our developmental brand. It's our version of NXT. It is called MWL Surge. And that will be run by Steve Akins. So he's going to take the realm on that one while Sean Bowley and Justin Marchesini run the main roster. We've got so many good things coming this season. If anybody wants to predict, hit me up. We'll get you on a roster. And whether you predicted before, whether you haven't predicted before, we're open to everybody. So if you're a fan of wrestling and you like to predict, absolutely hit me up on Facebook, Jeff Chadwick. And I hope to see you guys in Season 6.
Good stuff. And I definitely, again, hope to see you very soon on City Predicting, too, whether it's NXT, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, or TNA. Always a pleasure, Jeff.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure.
And good luck in your move. I know that only good fans await you, but you got a heavy load, pun intended, ahead for you.
Yes, I do. Less than a month to do it in.
Yeah, right. Well, Emmanuel, you don't need to say much because I know I'm going to see you and Arlene tomorrow night. So I'll see you both then. And I'm sure you all will be able to coexist. I don't expect too much bickering.
Yeah. Just a quick note for the people who are watching. Just because we super chat a lot doesn't mean you should not super chat and not participate in karaoke night or in chats. I welcome people to super chat. That way you could be in a panel and spread your thoughts and actually talk to us and talk to them. I mean, come on. It only costs $2 just a super chat. How much is $2? And maybe you'll be a future panelist and predict in the panel. I'll take my spot away and you to join. It's not that hard. Share the love. Share the to Jeff and JJ channel. I know Tatilla made it and make the hours for her to get super chat as well. The great chat Sherry channel. I mean, there's a lot of content, and just be a part of this great community. That's all I have to say.
God bless you. Thank you for that. And again, I'm not monetized. I'm just happy to support my friends and encourage everybody else to just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling too. Not to sound like a broken record, but truly, simply put, that is what I am and what I do. Well, JJ, you still have a lot of a workload ahead for you, even further beyond my simple agenda. And of course, you and I have watch-alongs galore this weekend, including your brand. Been an absolute pleasure discussing this with you as always, my friends. So if you want, feel free to plug anything one more time before you do it again in the morning. And go ahead and give yourself a on side because I know you're tired.
Yeah, you can find me, of course, on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, on Twitter, ROWJJ Williams, on YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. Thank you to the people that are watching there right now. Make sure you tune in Monday through Thursday for my daily talk show For the Love of Wrestling, where I review all of the major shows from the main companies. Forgot to send you the updated graphic, my friend, but it's all good.
Yeah, we'll get it
9
tomorrow.
a.m.
All good.
Pacific, noon Eastern. The time is still accurate. It's just Monday through Thursday instead of Friday. Make sure you tune in for my special reviews that I've been doing all this week, where I've been discussing wrestler bio and documentaries for the road to WrestleMania. My members only section has been getting the documentaries early. It's only $5 a month to subscribe to that. Everybody else gets them on the day they're supposed to be dropped. Emmanuel is one of the subscribers to the members only section. So Emmanuel, just a heads up, the Bray Wyatt documentary is up there now. So if you want to see my review of that, you know where to go after we get off the air here.
Yeah, I've been seeing that.
Otherwise, everybody else has to wait until 11 a.m. tomorrow Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time to find out what I thought.
That was a hell of a documentary. I'm a simple man that doesn't watch documentaries, but man, did that cut deep.
Yeah.
I've yet to see.
I also posted to my channel and made available already an apology I issued to Bray Wyatt fans because of how harsh I've been to them regarding them wanting him in the Hall of Fame this year.
Oh,
That is what the documentary did to me.
Bray.
So you can see my apology to the fans of Bray Wyatt on my channel right now. Or if you want to wait, it's part of the episode tomorrow as well.
Oh, well, there you go. Well,
So, make
all
sure
right.
you do all that stuff. And yeah, I've still got a busy night. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to watch Dynamite. I still have to watch yesterday's NWA Power because I didn't watch it because I had to finish the documentary so I could do my review and everything for tomorrow. So gonna get caught up on that tonight. And then the chaos kicks off. As you pointed out, we got the GCW watch along tomorrow. Nietzsche's Musings is tomorrow. You've got another Simply Predicting panel tomorrow.
Yeah.
Friday, you've got Simply Predicting for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. We've got a Dad's Not Always on Wrestling episode where we discuss the top 10 women's championship matches in WrestleMania history.
Oh.
Then we go from that to the watch-along coverage of Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor to the watch-along coverage of the Hall of Fame. Then we get a couple of hours to close our eyes, and then it's right back at it again because WWE hates us West Coasters. And Stand and Deliver for us is 8 a.m. start time. But that's only to be topped by the Slammies the next day, which is a 7 a.m. West Coast start time.
What?
The WWE is trying to kill us.
That's ridiculous.
So, but yeah, all of that stuff pretty much in the next 3 days.
Again, Lord help.
And the Raw after Mania also.
About to say, yeah.
So, you know, just when you think we're going to take our foot off the gas, nope. Dean Ambrose style.
Hey, we'll put into cruise control and just cruise our way into the next weekend as we get ready for Windy City Riot and
and then then we get 3 days off, and then it's Windy City Riot followed by Battle of the Belts Collision.
Yep. But the good news is,
I believe the words Noah uses after my trailer runs is all the wrestling, all the wrestling, all the wrestling, all the wrestling, all the professional wrestling.
Damn it.
And sports entertainment, which is a lot better than it used to be. I'm actually finding myself enjoying it a lot lately.
He's not wrong. I literally say that verbatim, and I genuinely mean that. I'm super pumped for WrestleMania 40. Are you kidding me? It's going to be insane. Oh, man. And we're also all insane. You all are insane and going through this conversation as everybody got to speak their pieces, I think, fairly well and quite simply put on all the matches. I hope everybody enjoyed this tonight. I look forward to doing it with y'all again and again. Tomorrow night, as you alluded to, I'm not letting up anytime soon. This didn't be over, but I still have 2 more before even the week concludes. So, again, the simple agenda is in full swing, so thank you all for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow night here in conjunction with Cast 80 Studios, the Men's brand, for WrestleMania Super Predicting Panel 2. It will be the Dominguez's and Christopher Rotz, and I will also be looking over your predictions and opinions put in so far on the forum, which you, of course, can find right now on my social medias. Just follow and Foster 1916 on the Twitter and on YouTube to get in tune with all the prediction leagues. Again, and Foster 1916, simple umbrella. You'll always find full snapshots of the leagues and the forums in the pins on the Twitter. And you'll also, of course, find your own additional link in the community tab on my simple YouTube channel. If you haven't checked out the ACW Impromptu, check that out. A podcast me and my friend Star in 2020. We just did our WrestleMania hype video, 4th year in a row. And again, we are ACW. We look at all things wrestling too. And again, folks, till tomorrow night, as I always like to conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters. Just fans with opinions with this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, even though we're all crazy because we do this on a daily basis. Treasure your families and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in to another edition of Super Predicting, where I went shorter than a Tony Khan pay-per-view. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. To the bell, this video goes live on demand on either of these channels. Help us keep growing our YouTube communities. I assure you, our creative passion, our content, our ongoing madness in doing this, as far as me, is not letting up anytime soon. But I think until tomorrow, where, again, check out the Bloodsport Watch Along with Walter Cruz and James Hebert. They will be calling Judgment as Bloodsport X, including the matches of Shayna Baszler versus Monster Slamovich and Nick Nemeth versus People Mike Billy. That will start across different Multiverse Media, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 p.m. Pacific. And then come back here if you choose for more WrestleMania talk, as we will be doing WrestleMania again in full, but this time with Christopher Rotz and the Dominguezes, as I look over what you all put so far in the forum too. Until then, enjoy AEW if you haven't watched it already, because like JJ, I'm about to watch it too, just because I'm crazy. I'm a professional wrestling fan for life. Good luck when you move, get some rest. Emmanuel, you and Arlene, get some rest. See you all tomorrow night too. And we'll see you all tomorrow here on the Different Multiverse Media in and out of YouTube. So until then, thank you for tuning in to NXT Stand and Deliver, Simply Predicting. And with that, make a positive impact in life and have a good night. And gentlemen, I think it's safe to say that we are all ready to whoop that trick.
Yeah.
Whoop that trick.
Yeah.
Whoop that trick.
I like it.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey.
Whoop that trick.
All right. I'm pushing the button. Have a good night, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I can't play the music. We'll get a copyright strike, even if I'm not monetized. Goodbye and good night. Oh, man. Shit is NXT far better than what it used to be. Damn it, I can admit that. I won't digress. Congratulations.